We're going to call this meeting to order, special closed session. I'd like to call the closed session meeting at 5:30 p.m. on April 21st, 25. Mr. Domer, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Crosby.
Here.
Councilmember Kashifagita.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Lau.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Present.
Mayor Hepburn.
Present.
All here, sir.
Thank you very much. Council will meet in closed session for the following. City Attorney Hall Barlow, please read the closed session items for the record and let us know if there will be any report out afterwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, Gonzalez versus City of Laverne, LA Superior Court, case 24 STCV 34625. We have a conference with legal counsel, potential exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9B2, one case. And we have conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. The negotiators are the city manager and the assistant city manager, assistant and city attorney. Employee organizations, Laverne City Employees Association, Laverne Firefighters Association, Laverne Police Middle Management Association, Laverne Police Officers Association, and all unrepresented employees. I do not expect reporting out this evening.
Council, do you have any comments? Okay, I'm going to open up public comment. Anybody wish to speak on this item? Good question. With that, we're going to close public comment this time. We will recess to closed session and reconvene at 6:30 p.m. for the regular city council meeting. We're recessing at 5:32 p.m. Start. Good evening, everybody. We're going to start the meeting here. We're going to start the meeting on Monday, April 21st at 6:40 p.m. I want to remind everyone that per the city's rules of decorum, all speakers, members of the audience, and council members are to conduct themselves with decorum and not to engage in conduct that interrupts the orderly conduct of the city council meeting. Also, public comment through Zoom will only be accepted for the agenda items listed within the consent calendar. Public hearing and discussion calendar section of the agenda. General public comments will be accepted at the meeting by those physically in attendance at the appropriate time. Tonight, we are very, very pleased to have Airman First Class Firefighter Corson Shear, which is a family member of the Community Development Director, Eric Shear, pleased to conduct the Pledge of Allegiance. You have the mic and the floor, sir.
All veterans and those in uniform, please render a salute. And all others, please stand and put your right hand over your heart and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
What a great time. What a great time. Okay, first and foremost, thank you for your service. Thank you very much for your service. We are a grateful city and a grateful nation to see amazing young men and women serve our nation, both here and abroad. And I would like to give you this certificate of recognition on behalf of the city of Laverne. But before I do that, I want to take this moment in time to recognize you. I want you to be able to tell our amazing community here, you know, because I bet there's somebody here that's going to be just like this amazing young man that wants to serve. So I want to be able to tell them a little bit about yourself, a little about what you do in the Air Force, which you have to have a high score, by the way. I didn't get that high score but I'm going to fix that with my son. But hey, maybe you might see him. It's a long last name, Cash Forget. Feel free to yell at him. But let them know what you do and what you do in the Air Force. And is it Aim High now? I can't remember. It's still Aim High? Aim High? You guys never changed it?
Nope. Never changed it.
Air Force, Aim High.
Yep.
Mike's yours.
Okay. I'm an Airman First Class Share. I've been in the Air Force for almost 2 years. I'm a firefighter at Luke Air Force Base. And I just found out I'm deploying May 5th. So that'll be a good experience for me. So pretty much what I do. So
awesome. Yeah. So you're a firefighter. You've enlisted for how many years?
I've been in for almost 2 years. 2 years in June.
How long is your contract? 6 years?
4 years. 4-year contract.
So you got to plan on making it a career, or you want to just go with how it goes?
We'll see how it goes.
I know Air Force eats very well for dinner. The Air Force Chow Hall, by the way, it's the very best for all you Army brothers out there and Marines.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
That is pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So look, without further ado, City of Laverne, certificate of recognition presented to Corson Sharir. This certificate is presented on behalf of the Laverne City Council to active duty, Airman First Class, and firefighter Corson Sharir with sincere gratitude and appreciation for your dedicated service to our country. God bless you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Would you like family? Yes.
I'd love to. I'm not really.
It's a land very, very far away, but never far away from an amazing chow hall at the Air Force
They
Base.
said it's okay there.
I think I'm going to take the mic from Cash. Come on, family members, get up here. Come on. Mr. Domer, roll call, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Crosby.
Present.
Councilmember Kashifagita.
Present.
Councilmember Lau.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Present.
Mayor Hepburn.
Present.
All present, sir.
We have a few past council members and mayors in this. Mayor Don Kendrick, hello, good evening. Councilmember Craig Walters, good evening. Welcome and thank you for your service. At this time, for our current process for reorganizing the leadership of the city council, I will turn it over to the city manager acting as the city clerk to conduct the selection of the mayor from amongst the city council, followed by the mayor conducting his selection of the mayor pro tem. Mr. City Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I will take nominations for mayor for the next year.
I nominate Tim Amazing Hepburn.
Second.
Vote, please.
Are there any other nominations? Having no nominations, vote for the mayor for Tim Hepburn. 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. I will
you.
turn it over to you to ask for nominations for the mayor pro tem.
We have a motion for the next. I will. Mr. Crosby.
I nominate Michelle Kashifagita.
I will second that. Vote, please. Do we have any other nominations? Seeing none, we take a vote, please.
That was approved 5-0 as well. Just going back to the mayor selection, that nomination and motion was made by Kashifagita, seconded by Johnson, and was approved 5-0. For mayor pro tem, nomination by Mr. Crosby, seconded by Mr. Hepburn, and approved 5-0.
Thank you, council. I really look forward to this, and I really appreciate your vote of confidence. And I'm only a mayor that works well is because I've got amazing council members and an amazing mayor pro tem. I look forward to the next year on our next rotation. And welcome to Mayor pro tem, Michelle Kashifagita.
Do I get to be on your minute with the mayor tomorrow?
Yeah. Anytime you want.
Thank you.
But no, honestly, it's been an honor to serve, and with our city management and our council, we're doing amazing things in the city of Laverne, and we just look forward to even more amazing seeing things in the next year and years to come. So thank you all for your vote of confidence, and I will make sure that I stand up to the wonderful things we do in Laverne and make sure that I present you as a mayor well and what our endeavors and all the committees that we all belong to, which is more than we can count. But thank you all very much. And I also thank my wife for letting me do this, too. She's in the audience, too. Thanks, Patty. Appreciate it. And also, Matt Lyons is in the audience. He was the field, actually, I call him general of Assemblymember Chris Holden. So thank you, Matt. And he's now with the San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership. Oh, we have a school board member, Brittany Allison, in here. Brittany, say hi. Hello.
I can
Hello.
see her. There she is.
We got lots of people in here.
Hey, Britt.
They do an amazing job for us. Is anybody else in here that I'm missing? We have an ad hoc water committee member, Mr. Richard Bowen, in the background, and we also have Danita Beauchamp on our ad hoc water committee in here also. Thank you. Thank you for all for serving. Okay, thank you again. We will now announcements of upcoming community events. Oh, presentation. Where am I there? Oh, sorry. Now we will move on to the Verne Historical Society will announce the winners of the Excellent Adventure Coloring Contest and award prizes. I wonder who that is. Sherry Best.
Okay, now the people online can hear me. All right, thank you. So tonight, the Laverne Historical Society wants to recognize several young artists who entered our coloring contest at the April 5th Excellent Adventure. This was our first time with the coloring contest. I think it was quite successful. We had 30 entries, each of whom colored a sheet depicting people, places, and events in Laverne's history. Members of Laverne's Youth and Family Action Committee selected our winners, and our judges were Brittany Allison, Wendy Lau, and Rick Crosby. Thank you all very much.
And they were amazing coloring.
And making the difficult choices. I didn't have to do that. So, Kathy Kalusik, the Laverne Historical Society Vice President, will invite the contest winners to come up and receive their prizes. And let's be sure we get some photos when all the winners are up here. So our first winner in the 2 to 3-year-old category is Vinny Sweet. Is Vinny here? Hey, Vinny! We got this for you! Yay! Kathy and I have... We can wait till... And Vinny's picture's on the top, so we can give that to Vinny's folks. Okay. Our second winner in the 3-year-old to preschool category is Olivia Zhang. Olivia? Yay! Wow! Come on up. You get a special fuzzy buddy. Yes, I do. I do have her picture. I just don't have enough hands. There. Yep. Okay, perfect. We're good. Yes. Our next winner in the 4-year-old and TK category is Arabella Lee. Arabella? All right. Ooh, here she comes. There is your prize. Wow. Okay. There you go. Our next winner in the kindergarten category is Lana Hambarchian. Lana? Yay! Lana. And Lana's picture came out in the March-April edition of the newsletter because her family took a great picture in front of our truck. So they ended up on the front page here. Okay, our next winner in the first grade category is Phoebe Bennett. Phoebe? Yay, Phoebe! There you go. There's your picture of the first school in Laverne. These are all pictures of Laverne's history. Our winner in the second grade category is Avery Martinez. Avery, are you here? Avery's not here. We'll have to deliver his gift. Go, Avery. Okay. Our winner in the fourth grade category is Angel Zia. Angel? Do I have that right? No. We'll have to deliver your gift, but a big round of applause. And our fifth grade winner is Olivia Bashir. Come on up, Olivia. Yay, there you go. And there's your picture. All right, now, I also want to recognize a helper, actually two helpers, who came and spent the morning helping the other kids coloring, and that would be Violet and Olivia. So if you two ladies would come up, you each get to pick a bunny. Violet, you pick first. You get one of those bunnies. The white one. So you've got the gray one. All right, a big round of applause for our winners. And can you come up for a photo? And bring your moms and dads. He says, "Oh, that looks good, huh?" Checking it out. Oh, great. All right, come turn around and look at the camera and you'll get your picture taken. Yes, we will.
I've never seen camps.
That's our next. Our next presentation, which is the proposal outlining a Walk of Fame in Old Town Laverne to honor those who have made lasting contributions to the city and the community from its founding to the present. Mr. Craig Walters, come on up, and Mr. Mayor Don Kendrick. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Mayor and City Council, well, that's a good act to follow. Egg prizes, I like that. Hard to beat that. But I think we've got something to share with you tonight that is also a really good feel-good project for the city of Laverne. And congratulations, Tim and Cash, for your election tonight. The city of Laverne was founded in 1887, and coming up next month, that's going to be 138 years. That's a long time, especially for a community out here, and a lot has happened in this city in that time. Places come and go, buildings change, the modes of transportation, everything else changes. But one thing that's been very consistent from the very beginning of the community is we've been really blessed with an incredible number of individuals who have made significant contributions to building the community, making the community thrive in the way it has, really making Laverne a special place. And when everything is said and done, it is the people that step up, the people that take the time and put their blood, sweat, and tears into this town that makes it something that it's worth living in. With that being said, and I think everybody can agree with those sentiments, we're presenting a project called Laverne Walk of Fame. And this would be a way to recognize all of those people that not only have come before us, but are still amidst us, that are making a difference for the community of Laverne. Everybody is familiar with the Hollywood Walk of Fame, very famous. It's actually an attraction. And we envision that the Laverne Walk of Fame can, in many ways, do the same thing for our community. The focal point of this would be in Old Town Laverne. This was presented to the Old Town Laverne Business Improvement District recently and has 100% support of that group. We see it as a way to not only create some interesting streetscape for people visiting Laverne, but really a way to further education in as it pertains to people that should be recognized. The process is just beginning, and what we're asking for tonight is to get a feedback from the City Council and support for the concept to begin to move forward. To present it in a quick manner, there'd be a nonprofit corporation set up to oversee this, to do fundraising for the plaques, and to also select the people that will be honored with these plaques. It would be a multi-year project. Initially, we're thinking about 20 plaques per year. And the key thing to making this work and making it really serve the purpose it should is the establishment of a group within this nonprofit that represents all of the different aspects of the community that have made a difference. Everything from founders, school educators, business owners, sports people involved with youth sports and other sports, across the whole gamut, recognizing our citrus heritage, really make it something that addresses, all of the aspects of our community. Financially, the plaques are estimated right now to be a little under $500 each. Honorees would not be asked to pay for their plaque. They don't have to have the means to do that. They may not even be living, so that probably makes it easier. What we would like to see the city participate in is, since these will go in the sidewalk in the city right away in Old Town, that the city would participate with the renovation of the sidewalk and the placement of the pavers in the pavement. In addition to the marker, or the paver, if you will, that recognizes the individual and what they're being recognized for, very briefly, the concept is to make this an educational experience so that we can have a website with background information on all of the recipients, why they're being recognized, really turn it into an educational tool. Visitors would be able to snap a QR code and access the website and be able to really learn about what has happened, where we've come from, and who these folks are that have made such a difference. It's really a very straightforward project. Everybody we've talked to seems to think it's really a great way to recognize the community. And Don has some more things that he'd like to share with us, but as I said, we're looking for support from the council to move forward. Understand that budget this year is going to be a little bit tough. The amount of money that is estimated to do the first year on what we're asking for the city's portion is under $5,000. It's a very small amount. If need be, we'll look at some other options for being able to come up with that funding. But it's really a project that the entire community, I think, could embrace and learn from. So appreciate your time. Are there any questions before Don steps up?
No, I think you've laid it out pretty well. Any questions? Yeah, we're good. Thank you, Craig.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Craig has laid out basically the fundamentals of our idea of the Walk of Fame. And what I want to talk about, which is really important to me, are the people. Because that's the reason we're trying to do this. This city has always been, and hopefully always will be, a high quality of life city, mainly because of the people. The goal in this proposal is recognizing and thanking those that have made Laverne what it is. So I'd like to talk about the people. Right down the street is a school called J. Marion Roynan Elementary School. Marion Roynan stopped segregation in this community between the Hispanics and the white people in the late 40s, and brought this community together. Palomar's Elementary School was closed. All the kids came north, and I grew up with a lot of them. Steve, you grew up with them. So nobody knows really. They see a school named after him, but what's the history behind it? Frank Johnson. Steve, your dad, served on the city council for over 20 years, helped create Pelota Little League Park, a park now dedicated to your brother. He also hired probably every male student from Laverne College at his Texaco station, whether he could use them or not. And I'm sure that you were hanging around that station too. The two volunteer awards at the city each year, the Jim Scranton Award and the Jack Huntington Award. Tim, you got the Jim Scranton Award. How much did you know about that award before you got it? Not a thing. Mm-hmm. And yet, it's one of the most prestigious awards that we can give out to our residents, to people that really care about kids. Why can't we have a paver down there, one for Jim Scranton, one for Jack Huntington, and explain why these individuals have and what they've done with it, and what people have followed and received those awards. Glenn Davis. everybody knows about Glenn Davis Stadium, right? But how many people actually know about Glenn Davis? Well, we need to tell his story. Oscar Marshall, the bank, he was, I don't know if he was the owner of it, but he certainly ran it for decades down on the corner of 3rd and D. Outgrew it, built a new building on Bonita and D Street, big brick building. And it was the first national bank of Laverne before it started through an evolution of different other banks. Citizen of the Year. These I just copied. I'm not going to read them from Evelyn Hollinger's book. Starting in 1953 through 87. The book came out shortly after that, so it stopped. But these are the Citizens of the Year for every year in that. One of the things that we know is this book came out in the later 80s. Good start. Doesn't list everybody. A lot of people that need to be recognized that are not recognized in this book. A lot of different factions in Laverne that were left out, and we want to make sure that those people get recognized. We want to err on the side of generosity. If you do something, we want to thank you. We don't want criteria that's going to exclude people, and they have to keep working to get that honor. This is not what that's about. A lot of people are going to be honored that don't even know they're going to get it. So this is what we want to do. We hope and want the city to be a part of this program with us. We want this to be a partnership. I don't think we're asking a whole lot, but we would really like the partnership between us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Craig. Any comments or questions to Mr. Kendrick or Mr. Walters? I think our deal is to refer it to staff and let Mr. Well, he's making one of them right now. He's cutting the concrete for you. Rick, nothing. No, thank you guys. It's a very great idea, and it's a very good idea, to celebrate our history and our people that have made a difference in our communities and actually formed our communities. So we'll relay it to Mr. Domer, look at the 501(c), look at how the formation of it is, and get back with you guys.
In that folder that you got, there's 2 pictures, pavers, in Huntington Beach. Those are the type of pavers. The ones at the Veterans Memorial, if you walk on them, they'll kind of wear, and you'll see that. These are a paver that won't do that. I'm not sure how thick they are. Permaco, who is the person who did the obelisk and all the pavers, and a lot of gravestones that or cemeteries around, they're the ones that actually did the Huntington Beach, and so they monitor that and so forth. So it takes 6 to 8 months to get the pavers to install. So it's not something that's short order.
They look pretty durable, though.
Yeah, they're very durable. Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, very much. This is a great idea, and we'll relay it. There he is. He just came back from his vacation.
Yeah. He's already got his concrete off.
Thank you, guys, very much. Appreciate it. Before we move on to announcements, we have one more? Oh, that's what I was saying. Yes. Sorry. I said before we move on to announcements, we have Sam Villaneda, for a field representative for Mr. Assemblymember John Harbidian. Good evening. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. How are you?
Bet you've been busy.
We have been, but I'm happy to be here. It's really nice to see familiar faces, but for those who have not met me, my name is Sam Villaneda. I'm here on behalf of State Assemblymember John Harbidian, and we are just very excited to present not one, but 2 certificates of recognition tonight to Mayor Tim Hepburn and previous Mayor Steve Johnson, just for your incredible work here in Laverne. We're excited to see what you guys will continue to do, but it is very refreshing to see all the work you've done to make sure people want to be here, enjoy living here in this special place of Laverne. So with that, it's my honor to present these certificates of recognition on behalf of State Assembly Member John Harbidian and the entire California State Assembly.
All right, let's go. Does it come with an In-N-Out gift card? What if it comes with an In-N-Out gift card?
Oh, man. No. Smaller. And
That-
she's on the top
What
step.
top step? What's the deal? What's the rule on the top
You're not
step?
supposed to be on the top step.
Aaron B. We'd have to put you down right in the hall here. My God.
This better not be what happens on a day-to-day
She
basis.
is. You know,
It's a rolling chair.
good thing they don't see it. It's a rolling chair. Now we will move on to announcements of upcoming community events. I have a few to announce real quick. I know we have a number of cards here, but we have a number of things happening. As a matter of fact, this coming weekend on Saturday, we have the Wine Walk, which is our infamous and famous wine walk. And that's from, I think it's 5 o'clock till 8:30. Tickets are still available. I don't have the flyer with me, but I think it's $70 per person, a participant, and it's $43 or something for a designated DD driver. So there's going to be over 12 sample areas. There's going to be food. There's going to be a lot of fun. This is one of those events, and hopefully we bring back the beer walk too, because I'm more of a beer drinker than a wine drinker. But we have people from all over the cities, from all over the San Gabriel Valley that come to that. So that's a big one, and that's this Saturday. You can still buy tickets online. There's signs everywhere. There's a barcode. You can just click the barcode. Everything's done online, so you have to purchase your tickets online. The other one is the 5th Annual LVPOA Golf Tournament, which is April 28th. There are still singles, foursomes. There's still sponsorships available. There's a flyer here. We'll be on the counter over here. So, or just straight donations to the Verne POA. They're a wonderful organization that, and the proceeds of this go to the Laverne Canine Foundation, which is hopefully we can get another dog, but it'll also afford Tupelo and what we're doing with our wonderful dog that we have with Officer Weinreb. So that's another one. We'll move with that. There's other stuff. With that, let's see. Adrian Romero, our librarian. Welcome.
County's finest.
Right.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, staff. I'd like to introduce a few events that will be taking place at Laverne Library this month. In celebration of Dia de los Libros, which is also known as International Book Day, the library will hold an event this Wednesday, April 23rd at 6, where children ages 6 to 12 can make a glass-stained bookmark from plastic. And this Saturday, April 26th, from 1 to 2, we'll be holding an event for adults to learn methods of bird identification with library books and smartphone apps. After the presentation, people can decorate their own birdhouses. Supplies are limited for this event, and advance registration is required by visiting the library or registering online at lacountylibrary.org. And I want to mention that the supplies for this event were provided by Friends of the Laverne Library. And on Saturday, May 3rd, we'll be holding another event for children at 2 p.m. During this event, a performer named Margot Gravel will teach about the animals of the Chinese zodiac. Then the children will be given the opportunity to create their own zodiac animal. And in partnership with the Department of Mental Health, the library will be holding a workshop on Tuesday, May 6th at 6 p.m. titled Mental Health and Stigma. During this workshop, participants will learn how to identify warning signs and mental health concerns, and they will also discuss ways to reduce the stigma often associated with mental health issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sherry Best. Where's your partner, Kathy? He's back. Come on, Kathy.
Back again with the Laverne Historical Society.
By the way, thank you.
Wasn't that fun?
That was really cute.
Well,
I mean, seriously, that's the fabric of our community, and that was a very nice addition.
Thank you. We'll do it again next year. We had fabulous participation.
Let us know
from
how we
families.
can help, because that is just the cutest thing in the whole world.
Perfect. I
Thank
will.
you.
I'll
Thank
let you know.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Laverne Historical Society would like to invite everybody again to come to the wine walk. We will be there. Unfortunately, our truck will not be there. It's having a little master cylinder brake problem.
Oh.
And I'm so glad that happened in the driveway of my house and not on the street. So once that all gets straightened out, the truck will be back and running again. So we'll be there. The truck will be at home resting comfortably. On the 3rd of May, the Historical Society is sponsoring a vintage sale and walking tour of homes on the 2300 block of 3rd Street. So this is free, open to the public. How many other historical societies do not charge for their home tours? We are not charging. So you can come and tour inside the William Moomaw House and then walk up and down the 2300 block of 3rd Street and read about other bronze marker designated homes in the city of Laverne. We also have some fabulous vintage for sale, so this is a great place to come spend your money without paying taxes or tariffs. We specialize in not charging taxes or tariffs on our donations, so this is the last bargain in the city, we believe. All right, so we have a lot of things planned, and look for us in the 4th of July. The truck will be up and running by then. It will be an exciting time. Did I leave anything out, Kathy?
Well, I was going to say, don't forget about memberships. Individuals still $20.
I knew I brought you up for a reason.
Family $25. Life membership $200. Then you don't have to worry about renewing every year. So do that. And also our walking tour is free, but we happily take donations. So, anytime.
Bitcoin, gold bars,
whatever it takes.
No
No Bitcoin. You're not there yet. Okay.
No, we're not
Just
there
checking.
yet.
We'll figure out a way.
Just checking. And what about those jams?
All for sale. That'll
What
be
kind
there.
of jams are for sale?
Oh, we have plum jam, and we have lemon marmalade, and we have peach mango jam, and we have pomegranate jelly and apple jelly and spicy apple jelly, and we sold at the senior craft fair
Made $100.
last Saturday.
$100.
$100. That was good fun. And I'll be bringing more jams, jellies, and membership forms to the wine walk. So have a couple glasses of wine, then come fill out a membership form. It's all good. Have a good time. Thank
you guys very much. I did forget to mention there was a senior craft fair, one of the first ones. It was in coordination. It was the senior craft fair on Saturday from, I think it was from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m., 10 to 3. And there was over 20 vendors that had amazing stuff. A lot of things you see at the Heritage Foundation when we do the big fair or any of the fairs we have. It was a lot of great stuff. So just pay attention to, in the back of this, our city council meeting agenda, there's always stuff going on in our community. So please pay close attention to that. I'm going to read this real quick. Go ahead and you leave. Did you want to leave? Oh, come. We'll do more announcements, and I have something I want to announce here real quick. Please. Community Services Director Yvonne Duran, come on up.
Just a quick announcement. So as many of you know, we are updating our Parks and Recreation Master Plan, a roadmap on how we enhance our parks, programs, and public spaces for the next 20 years. We've already taken the first steps by hosting a community workshop and mailing a survey to 5,000 randomly selected homes here in Laverne. And now we're opening up the survey to everyone, and we need your input. This is one of the most important ways you can help shape the future of Laverne's parks and recreation, and your feedback will directly influence this. So it just takes a few minutes, and you can now go onto our city website, but the link is cityoflaverne.org/PRMP. PRMP. There is also social media posts being posted tonight or first thing tomorrow morning with the same information with some famous people in this video. We'll continue to outreach our efforts throughout the year, but there'll be continuing to be community engagement, and everything will be updated on the city's website. So thank you.
Can you send that to all of us, though, so we can do our own posts, too, and make sure we do as a group and with the mayor and all that good stuff? Because this is really important, because we have probably some of the if not the finest parks in the whole San Gabriel Valley, and people come from wide and far to use those parks. And we have great equipment, and we're updating. We have a master plan, but we're also updating our equipment. So you guys are doing between you, Public Works, and our city, we're doing an amazing work on our parks. So thank you.
So please take the survey, and we'll share that information with all the council members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Any other announcements? Just a real quick one. Instead of saving it to the end, This last week, the county supervisors regarding the Los Padrinos, if you hadn't heard, the Los Padrinos detention facility, the court ordered to shut it down immediately. And what that means is when they shut that down, we have SYTF plus heinous youth offenders that are at the Los Padrinos detention facility. That our concern is that they also, the county supervisors, put on pauses, which is the global plan for the juvenile justice, which our global plan was that Affabah Page was going to be shut down. It's supposed to be shut down for the last few years, but unfortunately that's put on hold. Our concern, and our city manager, along with our council's approval, sent out a letter to Guillermo Vieira Rosa, which Mayor Pro Tem Cash is now, he's actually right directly, you're underneath Guillermo. He's his chief. So what that means is that, I'm just going to read this to you guys. You probably haven't seen it. It's been put out on the social media. This is, Dear Mayor Hepburn and honorable members of the Laverne City Council, court motion on Los Padrinos to Guillermo Villarosa, Chief Probation Officer. I'm reaching out to address the concerns of the city as expressed with the potential use of Camps Affabah Page in light of last week's Los Angeles Superior Court ruling by Judge Michael Espinoza directing the Los Angeles County Probation Department to immediately begin in process to depopulate Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall. Mind you, Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall has some of the worst and heinous offenders of any that you can imagine. So we recognize and respect the City of Laverne's longstanding interest in the future use of Camps Affabah and Page. We remain committed to open and transparent communication with our city, county, and this is from Guillermo Villarosa to us, from a letter that was sent by our city manager. We remain committed to open and transparent communication with our city, county, and community partners as we implement an emergency relocation plan in response to the court's directive. As you're aware, the department has developed a global facilities plan which currently sits before the Board of Supervisors for approval that includes the phased closure of certain camps, including Camp Page, and the repurposing of other existing juvenile detention facilities that are more aligned with both the youth and staffing needs. However, due to the urgent nature of the current circumstances and the state's determination that Los Padrinos is not in compliance with their interpretation of operational requirements, we must now act swiftly to identify safe and secure placements for the youth currently housed at that facility. Let us be clear. Any consideration of utilizing additional housing space will be guided by public safety criteria, facility readiness assessments, and youth classification protocols. We are not seeking to place high-risk youth in settings that are unfit for their rehabilitative needs or for staff and community safety, but we may not have many options given the current situation. That's a concern. Any use of facilities like camps, Affabah and Page, if deemed necessary, would only follow through evaluation and coordination with the appropriate oversight agencies, including the Los Angeles Superior Court, the County Board of Supervisors, and the Board of State and Community Corrections. Our depopulation plan for Los Padrinos is due back to the court by May 2nd, 2025. We intend to communicate and share elements of the plan with our stakeholders, including city officials, to ensure transparency. We are grateful for your continued engagement and share your desire for thoughtful and responsible approach to this emergency situation. As we move forward, we will continue to provide updates and opportunities for dialogue. Guillermo Villarosa, Chief Probation Officer. Our city management's very concerned about this. I know that Ms. Beauchamp has been a champion for the probation department, as we all were when it came time that they were going to shift SYTF youth offenders to Affabah Page. This will not be tolerated. We will watch closely. We have notified our county supervisor to make sure that we are aware of this, and Cash's boss, Guillermo Villarosa, understands exactly that this will not be tolerated. We have to keep our communities safe. So we'll be monitoring this very closely with our chief of police, Sam Gonzalez, and making sure that any communication or anything that even happens up there, even if they sneeze, we'll know what's going on and who's going up there. So we're going to be very diligent about this. So I just want to let you guys know this will be out on our website also, but this is very serious. So very concerned about it. City Manager Domer, any other comments on that?
No, unless you want me to read the statement that was pushed out on Saturday, just in response to this, because we did learn about it on Friday.
Yeah, this was Saturday. This was sent out, and then Guillermo's response was today. I think you should read that. And yeah. I want to say that Mayor Pro Tem Cash really monitors this very closely now, and anything that goes on there, it's nipped in the bud immediately, because there have been some issues where we found out that there were some undesirable, not necessarily severe SYTF, but it doesn't matter. No SYTF person incarcerated should ever be in that facility there.
Yeah, so, Mr. Mayor, this was the statement released mostly over our social media just because it was Saturday and it was trying to get it out as far and wide as possible. City of Laverne steadfastly opposes any potential movement of probationary youth into camps after law or page. The residential camps provide youth with education, medical, and mental health services, but are not designed nor structured as detention facilities, nor for youth with serious offenses. These camps do not meet the basic criteria set forth by the Board of State and Community Corrections, which in fact is what Los Padrinos is alleged to not even meet at this time. The city agrees with the department's global plan to shut Camp Page and requests that the Board of Supervisors continue to implement at least that portion of the plan to shut it down, as has been promised for years. We understand that at this time the county is assessing its options, but moving youth into camps at Laval or Page must not be one of those options. Short and simple.
So we're on top of it, but we need to watch it closely, which we will be doing. I know Chief will be watching. I know Cash will be watching, so we'll keep everyone. And if we need to rally the troops, we'll rally the troops, so as we've done before. Any other announcements from anyone? We'll close announcements, and we'll move on to consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are routine and will be enacted by one motion unless a member of the City Council or a member of the audience requests separate discussion or just wants to make a statement on one of the items. Any thoughts, any comments, or any requests to pull anything? Go ahead.
I would move to approve with the amendment that in the minutes it identifies the ULV Scholarship Gala as a sponsorship gala. So I just wanted to make the correction that it's a scholarship gala. And so if there's no opposition to that, I would move and look for a second.
I'll second.
I just want to make sure I will abstain from the minutes number 2 just because I was not present, but vote on all the rest.
Okay. Any other changes or adjustments?
Likewise.
Okay, that was Cash for number 2. Okay. Take a vote.
And I was writing down, Councilmember Lau, or you made the motion?
Yes.
And it was seconded by?
Okay. That's fine. That was me. Yeah, you better be careful. You're next to a loading.
I'll have to get a better listener.
Okay, go please. Cash, you don't know how to use that, do you?
Oh, the other way. Oh, geez.
There you go. Teach him everything. He's a rookie.
So the consent calendar with an amendment making it scholarship gala. Motion by Lau, seconded by Hepburn. Approved 5-0 with the exception of item 2 with members Cashel Fagita and Crosby abstaining.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, now you can turn yours off. They should have a learning card that we put in front of them, you know? We now, public hearings. We now move on to public hearings. There are 3 items tonight. The first one is a hearing to determine the necessity of the utility users tax. City Manager Domer, please call forward the staff member who will be reporting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of council, I'd like to call forward Jesus James. He's going to be providing this staff presentation on the public hearing to determine the necessity of utility tax.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Jesus Jaimes. I'm an accountant with the finance department. And good evening, city council, staff, and residents. I'm here tonight to discuss the city's utility user tax, also known as UUT. The city's municipal code actually requires us to have an annual public hearing to determine whether the utility user tax continues to be necessary, and if so, at what level. To clarify, the council will not be voting on increasing or adding any new UUT rates, since that would actually require voter approval. Instead, we hope that this public hearing will provide city council, staff, and residents an opportunity to discuss the need and current rates for the Laverne's utility user tax. For some background, currently the city imposes a 6% tax on electric and gas consumption and 5.75% on telecommunications. The city also does offer a reduced 3% rate that is available for income-eligible residents, senior housing complexes, mobile home parks, churches, private schools, and nonprofits. Revenues collected from this UUT go directly into the general fund and are then used to support essential city services. UUT has been and is usually our third largest tax revenue for the general fund, and since its adoption has continued to prove to be a stable and reliable revenue source. If there are no changes to the UUT rates for the upcoming budget for the fiscal year 2025-26, UUT rates alone, or UUT revenues alone, are estimated to provide roughly $3.8 million for the general fund. This 3.8 is projected based on analyzing both historical data and consulting with our UUT experts. Considering the detrimental impact it would cause city operations if UUT were to be removed or decreased, it is recommended that the City Council approve the continuation of the utility user tax at the current voter-approved rates. Thank you, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions for staff before we go to public comment? No. Thank you very much. We'll call you back up if we need you. Thank you. I'm going to open up public comment on this item. Mr. Bowen.
Good evening, Council, and congratulations, Cash, on your promotion, or you hope. I'm not a big tax guy, but obviously this is built into our budget. My question is, when did this begin? And I know it comes up annually, but when did it start? And does anybody know why it started to begin with? Because every year, we've got to have it, 3.7 million, we can't live without it. Just a great example of a tax that never ends. So I don't know if anybody has an answer to when it began and why. The concept?
Yeah, we can do it. He's got it. Ken, I think 1999, right? Ken?
Yeah. So 26 years? And
Yeah,
the
so it
original
changes.
concept?
So according to the staff report, it did start in 1999. At that time, it was 4%. It had replaced prior in the city. I guess there was a citywide landscape and lighting district that collected funds. And for some reason that was removed, and the utility users tax, which is a little bit more flexible, was put in its place. So the city has always depended upon some form of additional revenue that came in, and the utilities user tax was placed in. It has been updated and increased. That was back in March 2005, and that was a new ballot measure. So the residents voted on it at that time in 2005 to increase it from 4% to 6%, then change the different levels of like gas versus electricity versus telecommunications.
So homeowners pay this only? If it's gas and electric?
No, so anybody who resides in Laverne, it's telecommunications, gas, electric, and you're paying those bills. It's on your bill.
Whether it be
Okay, but those are homeowners typically, right?
And businesses also.
And businesses, okay.
So anybody who receives that services in the city, it's a utility user's tax on that utility. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Anybody else? Danita? Oh, yes. You want to answer that?
I would just like to add, on the agenda, I do have two links. One of them is www.uutinfo.org, and this is a website that's put together by our UUT experts, Muni Services Avenue Insights, and it's built because it's really known, the state considers it as really the best place for all transparent UUT information. Has information all cities throughout California, all the rates, when it was imposed, and other great information. Also, within the city's website, we do have a utility user tax webpage that also provides more information. But great resources, and I encourage anybody to use them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Beauchamp.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council. My question about this is, in the description, it says it supports essential city services such as police, fire, recreation, and public works services. I think that implies work performed or work done. Is there any way that there can be specificity as to how those dollars are spent within those departments rather than salaries and or retirement for those departments? I don't know if that might be a Christie question. Thank you.
Ken?
It's a.
No, I'm sorry. Can we have all public comment
let's
first?
do all public
before
comment
then
first.
answer all the
Then we can
questions?
close this down and bring our staff back up. Yeah. Any other? Yes, please.
Good evening. I'm Patricia Sweetman. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, Council. With this money also kind of going along what Danita was saying, could be used toward the water increase that we are going to be seeing as a product delivery as opposed to a service delivery. That's my question.
Thank you. Any other comments? We'll go ahead and close public comment. Bring it back up to the dais. Mr. Delmer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Just real quick, so based on whether it can be limited to certain things, it was approved by the voters as a general tax. So that goes into the general fund, the most flexible use of it. So therefore, it can be used for personnel costs, anything. As we know, both police and fire, even though there's some revenue generated there, most of the general fund money goes to support law enforcement, public safety in the city. Regarding whether it can be used towards water utility is a separate legal entity, basically a separate fund, and it's paid by the rate users. So that's the process we're going through now, generating information to help understand better and to also bring up and modernize and make more efficient the whole water utility revenue and production process. So,
those are good questions. So basically, general fund and basically no on using it for the water and sewer. Sorry, that's cut to the quick, right?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for the city.
Yes.
As an owner of the land of the park,
No, everybody pays the utility users tax, so it has essentially the same impact on it.
Also,
no abstention is required.
Though noted in there too, there's a discount of 2% for senior housing complexes and mobile home parks as well.
Correct.
Okay. Any other discussion? We're good. Then I would.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, just real
Yes.
quick, it's not paid on water, so it's just the telecommunication services, prepaid wireless, electricity, and gas. So.
With that, do I have a motion to maintain the city's utility users tax at the current voter-approved rates for the fiscal 2025-26?
So move.
Second.
I'll second.
Vote, please. Right way, would you please?
Item number 6 was moved by Crosby, seconded by Lau, and approved 5-0.
Thank you, guys.
That's a good way of saying
Just get away from the mayor.
You like it?
The next public hearing item is to consider an increase in the paramedic fee for fiscal year 2025-26 from $650 to $670. City Manager Domer, please call forward the staff member who will be reporting on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to call forward Isabella Guzman from the Finance Department.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the public. I'm here to present the annual review and proposed adjustment to the paramedic service fee for fiscal year 2025-26. Back in 1980, Laverne residents made a vital investment in public health by approving Measure GG. That measure established the paramedic service fee, a funding mechanism that guarantees residents access to advanced life support and emergency ambulance transportation without direct out-of-pocket expenses. While billing insurance is now a standard practice, the paramedic fee remains critical. It supports staffing, operations, and ensures continuity of care in times of need. What started at $1.75 per unit per month in 1981 has gradually increased in accordance with rising costs and the Consumer Price Index. As of today, the fee is $6.50 per month. This year, we are recommending a modest 3% increase from $6.50 to $6.70 per month. This adjustment aligns with CPI limits and is projected to generate an additional $31,571, bringing the total paramedic fund revenue to $1,083,944. But it's important to highlight, even with this increase, the paramedic service fee will still only cover around 7% of the department's total operating budget, which is projected at $15.7 million, and of that, $3.92 million are the paramedic costs. With this increase, we remain within CPI guidelines and continue protecting our community's health without placing a disproportionate burden on residents. The adjustment is modest, strategic, and necessary for the sustainability of our emergency response services. Staff respectfully recommends that the Council adopt the resolution adjusting the monthly paramedic service fee from $6.50 to $6.70 effective July 1, 2025. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. We might call you back up. We're going to go to public comment, but thank you. I'm going to open up public comment on this item. Do you wish to speak on this item? That would be no. I'm going to close public comment. Council, any comments or Mr. Crosby?
I just appreciate this use of nominal fee for all of our residents, the safety having to be transported, and then we are not overly charged for those transports. We have a community that most of our fire service is medical aid, and the service is used by a lot. And I think the council in 1980 did great things for our city and really want to continue. $6.70 a month from my one house, and is a nominal fee that helps everyone out in the community.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Mr. Johnson?
This is something that's been coming back all the time, every year, and bump it up a little bit. We also collect, I believe, even more by our reimbursements from going after insurance companies and to try to collect paramedic fees as well. So we do bill insurance companies along with the nominal payment that we make as a resident of the city. And I know my mother's been transported to the hospital numerous times in the last few years for different issues, but I think it's a wonderful service, and this little cost is very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anyone other comments? I, too, do agree. We have an amazing paramedic service in the city of Laverne, and it's used quite often. And it's just one of those services that's it's an amazing resource for our residents. And we've got the finest fire department of any surrounding areas, and that's a reason for it. So we have great services. These fees are minuscule of the services we actually provide. So as you can see in the dollar amount of what it actually covers and what we actually pay, even with our reimbursements, it's still, we need it, though, to give us the services. So thank you. Thank you, staff. With that, do I have a motion to maintain the city's utility? Oh, wrong one. Do I have a? Oh, switch pages here, guys. No, no, got it.
I'd like to make that motion.
Yeah.
Second.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution titled, "A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Laverne adopting a fiscal year 2025-26 paramedic service fee"? We have that
So
already.
moved.
Vote, please.
Second.
Mouthful.
Motion for that item was by Johnson, seconded by Castle-Fagita, and the vote was 5-0.
There we go. Thank you. The final public hearing is to approve the fiscal year 2025-26 comprehensive fee schedule. City Manager Domer, please call forward the staff member who will be reporting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to call forward Ellie Luo.
We got every one of you tonight. Great. You guys are doing great. That's right. We are honored.
And so are we. So, good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. Tonight, we're presenting the proposed updates to the City's comprehensive fee schedule for fiscal year 2025-26. The annual update ensures our fees reflect the actual cost of providing services, comply with the current regulations, and support our long-term infrastructure needs. There are a few key changes I'd like to highlight. In Public Works, we're introducing a new after-hours inspection fee of $340 while keeping the standard inspection rate unchanged. Water and sewer connection fees have also been updated, and although these fees are currently active, as they are included in Resolution 18-73, they had previously been omitted from the comprehensive fee schedule and are now being added. Updates for the service installation fee includes a $13,455 increase for 1-inch pipes and $17,232 for 2-inch pipes. The sewer connection fee is also rising to $1,683 to offset the proportionated share of the system's capital cost. These fees apply to those requesting water service for one or more parcels that do not have an existing connection to the city's water system. Please note, the water and sewer connections fees have not been adjusted since 2015, and now reflect the current cost of service. Also, the post-Miramar connection fee that was previously included in the 2019 Development Impact Fee Report has been removed to reflect the 2020 agreement between City and Three Valleys Municipal Water District. For the fire department, we've replaced the current cost recovery model with a more detailed incident mitigation cost. This change allows us to bill more accurately based on the type of emergency response from fires to hazmat situations. EMS fees have also been simplified by bundling dispatch fees, medical supplies, and documentation fees into a flat rate of $75 that has been added to the advanced and basic life support services. In the police department, we're adjusting concealed carry permit fees, lowering the initial application fee from $100 to $50 and increasing the renewal fee from $25 to $75. On the refuse and recycling side, we're applying a 4.44% increase in line with CPI of our agreement with Waste Management. Lastly, we've updated the formatting and organization of the fee schedule. With these changes, we're aiming for a more accurate, transparent, and fair fee structure that keeps pace with the actual cost of doing business. Staff recommends approval of the resolution to adopt the updated 2025-26 comprehensive fee schedule. I'm happy to answer any questions, but if you have detailed questions about specific fee, departments can answer those questions as it was a collaborative effort.
Thank you. This is a lot of work, and we really appreciate that. I'm going to open up public comment first, and then we'll come back up to this. Public comment on this item? Anybody wish to speak on this? Ms. Gabaldon.
Good evening, everybody. This is more only because this is the last one, because I knew everything was going to get approved, basically, because we have budgets already founded on all this. But I wanted everybody to know what is going through the state as of yesterday. There are 9 property tax bills that are planned, with some of them with increases up to 5% on every home sold. And there's also one to actually include a repeal of Prop 13. There's a payroll tax that's actually being proposed, which is really going to hit small businesses in particular, which is, of course, going to mean fewer jobs in our state. There's going to be there's a vacancy tax proposed, which this one doesn't make much sense. It would be basically taxing a vacant office and retail stores when the businesses leave. There's going to be an increase in the income tax to a maximum of 13.8%. And then there's also whatever we've all heard about is the new mileage tax, which is 6 to 9 cents per mile when you drive. They're going to put something on your vehicle that'll be mandatory. and it's equivalent to an 80 cents per gallon hike in gas tax. That is AB 1421, if you don't know about that. I'm just bringing this up right now because I think everybody's got to be very aware about just the insane taxes. And when I hear a CPI going up of 4.1 for some people, I know that many of us in the private world, we haven't had a raise in about 7 years now. So just be very cognizant that pretty soon there's no more blood in the turnip. And you've got a lot of people in town that are senior citizens, and every single increase makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gabaldon. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? We're going to close public comment. Bring it back to the dais. Any comments on this item? Mr. Crosby.
Just that I appreciate going through this, all the red lines. I've taken Wendy's response that she gives every single year to go through. It really shows where they are and not that it's being very transparent. So to your entire team, appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Any other comments? I want to mirror that, but also I really, really like the way that you got the mitigation fees for the fire department as we've been going out on all these different fire episodes and just making sure that chronologically list how this is supposed to get back to you guys so that you can actually take this so we can do our billing properly. That's really important to me. And I do love the red lines. It was in the last part of it. It explains it completely what's going on. I really appreciate that. And I know it's a lot of work for you guys, especially departmental crossover. Really, really nice how you did that. So really appreciate that. With that, do I have a motion to adopt a resolution titled Resolution of the City Council of the City of Laverne, California, amending resolution number 24-48 relative to certain fees and policies for services provided by the City of Laverne?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Vote, please.
That item was moved by Cashel-Fagita, seconded by Crosby, and approved 5-0.
Very good. Thank you. We'll now move on to discussion calendar. There are 2 items tonight. The first item is the first reading of an ordinance. Thank you guys very much, all of your staff, very much. The first item is the first reading of the ordinance reorganizing the city's public advisory committees, commissions, and boards and setting general provision for membership and operations. City Manager Domer, please call forward the staff member who will be reporting.
I will be doing the reporting on that, sir. We're going to be bringing up a presentation, and do apologize that we do not have the larger screen. There is a screen over here. Hopefully everybody can
Why don't
see
we get
that.
Aaron on the ladder again one more time?
We're not going to get Aaron on the ladder anymore. So
Why don't we have our parties dying on the floor? It's fine.
Oh, yes, and there's also copies over here. So Aaron will pass out the copies instead of getting on a ladder. So yes, but anyway, this is the first reading. So again, when there's an ordinance, there's a first reading. If it is approved, then it goes to a second reading and adoption. And then once that is approved at that point, then there's 30 days and it becomes effective. But as you, even I get the clicker. At the shortly after I started, at the January 17th, 2023 City Council meeting, Mayor Hepburn had requested a review of all the city commissions, committees, and boards for ease, just call them committees. The review was based on historically different methods of committee formation and a lack of consistent requirements. We do have some committees or boards that are mandated by the state. For example, the Public Financing Authority, EIFD, that is more swayed by state law than what we can do here. But the best practice of committees is to structure them to solicit public input and longstanding service needs for larger policy department areas. So our committees were really kind of finite and specialized in areas versus what is before you is like a finance commission, a public works, so it's called a different thing. Commission, the planning commission would still be there. So since committees are advisory to the city council, it's best not to have city council members on there, though we do talk about and form the ability for liaisons. So that way a city council person could be assigned that, can provide specific information if requested, but not partake in the discretionary decision, advisory making recommendation back to the city council. So
The initial recommendations were presented to City Council at a study session on October 21st with feedback received. That feedback was then put into an ordinance that had general parameters, and this is what you have before you. So, and again, kind of to reiterate, the committees are a means of gathering community input. So it really is to have the residents be a central part of the committee, increasing participation. So there is an increase in the amount of people that were there. And having committee members provide advisory services on wide-ranging matters. That's going back to the Finance Commission. I'll talk a little bit further about some of these commissions. So the item requests first reading of an ordinance setting general provisions for committees. So this is a first step. There are commissions, committees already defined within the municipal code and or by resolution. So this is just kind of making consistent some of the issues about membership, voting, and items like that. So number of members per committee is defined. Qualifications must be a bona fide resident and registered voter unless otherwise required by law. That goes back to the Public Financing Authority, EIFD, which is a little bit different. A selection and removal process. So city council members will primarily make direct appointments, but it allows for a general application process. We did this initially with the Sewer and Water Ad Hoc Committee, and a lot of cities are going to that because of now a lot of cities are in by districts. There's still a requirement for an application process, but it doesn't prohibit the fact that if there's a large amount of appointee or applicants, that the council can do some form of interview session and all that stuff, and then make a selection after that. So designates that there's terms, 2 4-year terms coinciding with the appointing member. It requires the chair and vice chair selected annually by the commission or committee, so that's a standard practice. Provides some rules of procedure and decorum, requires conflict of interest provisions, and then talks about the city council liaison role. So the recommended committees, commissions, and boards, and again, this was brought back in October, and then carried forward now. So Planning Commission remains the same. The Active Transportation Committee becomes the Active Transportation and Public Infrastructure Commission. We could always shorten it up to the Public Works Commission, but it would broaden its review from just active transportation, bicycles, pedestrians using the circulation system, to actually larger circulation items, looking at the CIP that goes from Public Works to the City Council for the budget time. Measure LV Citizen Oversight Committee. There was oversight put into Measure LV, and really the committee gets together and just makes sure that the funds are being used per the Measure LV guidelines. So there is some additional recommendation that they give about Tier 1 or Tier 2, but this would make them a finance commission, so actually a more widespread review of the city's finances. So they could help with the audit oversight. They could look when we do go out for a new external auditor, help with that process. And then also look, because we are fiscally challenged like many cities, any ideas about fiscal sustainability. There can be recommendations from the City Council back to the Finance Commission to look at these items. So it's a much broader review of the city's finances. Senior Advisory Committee is the same. The Old Town Laverne bid. The only difference in the Old Town Laverne bid is that instead of appointing individuals to the bid board, that the council would appoint the nonprofit association that is the Old Town Laverne Business Improvement District. Very common when cities have bids. It makes it simpler. If you know right now, we have this complicated process of there's an association. They actually run and manage the wine walk, the beer walk, some other items. We hold their money, then we transfer it back to them and all that stuff. So it's a very kind of a overly complex process that we could simplify and follow the best practices that were not only done in other bids, but also recommended by the consultant in the most recent review process. So Public Financing Authority, EIFD, is to remain the same. And then the creation of a new Parks and Recreation Commission to look at everything Parks and Recreation. As you know, we're doing the master plan for Parks and Recreation, and so this would be where a first scrub of all improvements, other ideas, comes to that commission, the committee, and then is recommended back to the city council. The Youth and Family Action Committee would maintain a majority of what it is right now, but it would become a subcommittee to the Parks and Recreation Commission and report to them. And then the Youth Sports Committee, and the Youth Sports Committee really is, there's 2 members of council on it, but it's the youth sports organization presidents, and it's really designed to kind of just interact and exchange information and to coordinate field use and all that stuff. So it's not really a committee, it's more of a working group. So it's proposed as a working group reporting to the Parks and Recreation Commission if there's larger issues that are needed. But it's really an opportunity for those designated presidents or designees of the presidents from the different youth sports organizations to get together, talk about field use, talk about some field policies like a mud line or, when you use a field after a rainy event and all that stuff, but not necessarily a committee per se. So it's a working group. So if approved, the next steps would be a second reading of the ordinance on May 5th. If passed, it is effective 30 days after that. During that time, we're going to bring forward resolutions related to the new commissions, defining the scope and purpose, responsibilities for them. We're looking at the May 19th meeting. If approved at that point, we would advertise appointment availability on May 20th, and then consideration of appointments either at the July 7th meeting or, depending on issues, sometime thereafter. But once it's approved going forward, we want to make sure that the process is open, is advertised, we get enough people, and then we'll go forward from that. So that's the recommended action, which is the first read, waive further reading of ordinance entitled An Ordinance of the City Council, City of Laverne, California, adding Chapter 2.46 and amending Chapters 2.48 and 2.54 of the Title II, the City of Laverne Municipal Code, setting forth general provisions governing board, commission, and committee appointments and office.
Thank you, Mr. Delmer. Any questions for Mr. Delmer before we go to public comment? Yes?
Yeah, a couple questions. With the Measure LV and change to the Finance Commission, because Measure LV was voted on and approved and it had a Measure LV Oversight Committee part of that, does that still allow us to change that?
I'll answer that question. As long as we don't take away or modify the ULV oversight portions of the duties.
But changing the name, and that's still okay then?
Yes, so that will be one of their obligations, but we can certainly expand that existing commission to do additional.
Okay. And then I know the Youth and Family Action Committee and the Youth Sports Committee has council members on them, and then like the Youth and Family Action Committee, we are part of the voting board chair of that, along with residents and along with school board. What changes does that make to this?
Again, that's a kind of a unique committee, and there's not a lot of things, JR, who is the staff liaison, could correct me, that come advisory back to the city council for approval. A lot of things are done through the committee. Again, that committee was formed. It was originally the Red Ribbon Week Committee for drug abuse resistance education. I think I got that right. And then changed its name to be a little bit more broad. So the reality is that it would make recommendations based on what it's kind of reviewing, working with the school district, working with the community groups, to the Parks and Rec Commission. But it's one of those committees that I know has struggled a little bit, but continues to go forward, and it is important with the issues that they bring up. So.
And my last question before we go public is that I know on that Youth and Family Action Committee, it does state in the bylaws that the mayor is the one that chooses and appoints the people. When we've done in the past has really had the whole council, but in the bylaws it said the mayor. Do those things have to change as well then?
Correct. Yeah, there'll be with those resolutions some changes to that structure just to kind of realign it. The issue with the youth and family is probably it's more of a, city, school, community organization type group. And that's where when we bring it back, we'll be looking for some input specifically on that committee because it is a unique feature.
And just a statement, as you know, tomorrow is our Youth and Family Action Committee. I invited Mr. Domer to come to that Youth and Action Family Committee to help explain all of this process as well.
And to listen to them about some of the issues that they want to bring forward. So, yes.
So on the issue of the bylaws and the compositions and everything else, so if it were passed on second reading, then the staff would come back with proposed bylaws for each of those units?
So resolutions to establish the commission's committees. And then again, a lot of committees don't have bylaws. They're directed through the commission's committees. And again, it kind of reflects how some of these commissions or committees were formed, that they were almost autonomous, private, and then were assumed by the city. So we'll have to talk a little bit if there is a need for a bylaw or if the resolution process can be that, those guidelines.
Yeah, I would like, for staff to come back with that if it were to pass on second reading, to understand better what the uniformity of it looks like, because I know this was a huge lift to make sure that we were being uniform in how we were establishing committees and committing to them and continuing them, But if we're going to do that, then I want to make sure that we are also doing likewise when it comes to bylaws or minutes or whatever it is. I think it should be standardized to the extent that all of our residents know that, hey, if this is a commission of the city or a subcommittee or whatever, this is where I can expect to find the information, and it is going to be in the same format and structure.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I agree. I think we need to be very careful because, like Measure LV, as Mr. Crosby stated, was voted in by the voters. And there was definite criteria in there that has to be adhered to. So we want to make sure that if there is any bylaw with any of these different organization chart, moves and rewordings, and that needs to be taken care of. I do agree with that. I did have one question regarding the Youth Sports Committee. With that, as we've had issues in the past, and Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, now Councilmember Johnson, and myself are on that committee. Does that still require that you were saying that we were going to remove people off these committees as far as the council members? Would we still have council members on this committee during their meetings? Because my problem with this is after we've had some very serious problems that we were really pretty much moving through it with the committee, but also with our staff because we had these serious issues with some of the sports organizations. We need to be very careful of that. Instead of us hearing it third and fourth hand, I think some of these things we want to make sure that we are at the forefront of an issue, that we can address it through our city management, through our directors of the different organizations, but especially our community services director, as we did in the past, and which hopefully we don't have that again. But knowing youth sports, there's always going to be issues popping up. But as electeds, it's very important for us, especially people with all of us that have sports background, that it's very important that these all these youth sports function correctly and keep the children in mind. So I just, how's that?
No, absolutely. Very good points. And that's, with the city used to have a Parks and Recreation Commission decades ago.
No, a long time ago.
Yeah. And I do believe in the original, for the study session, that history was in there. But as far as, that's one reason for the liaison activity of the city council, because that is needed for either the past history or we're a small community, the understanding of what's going on. But truly what a committee, a commission, a board is for is that resident advisory purposes. And so making sure that it's the residents that are providing that advisory input back to the city council for the youth sports organization working group. Again, that's more of an informational and an understanding, and then any issue would be brought back to the Parks and Rec Commission. And then, of course, you know how things work here. If there's an issue going on, we're going to report out to the city council. We're going to make sure that you are aware of what's happening, get feedback,
work either with the individual coaches or youth organization presidents at that time, or through the Parks and Rec Commission as to what is a change or an advisory back to the city council then in which to take a vote.
I think what I would like, though, is that the option in any of these committees that if there need to be a added liaison with an elected, number of electeds, just for the fact if there was an issue, that you could institute that the liaison committee would come in, just like we've done with our Chamber of Commerce, just like we've done before, that you have a liaison committee that could come in if there was an issue, that we would come in and be not necessarily appointed, but we would come in to monitor the situation in order to bring it back to council. I just think it's very important that we have electeds involved with these different liaison groups, because there's issues that come on that we can bring it back and discuss it, whether it be in a closed session or in a situation with the directors of the different organizations. I just think something that might want to modify that. I'm just throwing this out, but
Yeah, and again, the purpose of the liaison is pretty much to do that. So you're going to be, as you know, each year we look at the commissions, committees, external committees and all that stuff. Council assigns or volunteers or voluntold sometime. And so at that one is, once we establish all these committees, the liaison list will be then sent around. So we can do one, we can do two. And it never precludes the city council from hearing of an issue and discussing it. Up here on the dais, or calling a special meeting, or even have like in this instance, the Park and Rec Commission, doing the same thing. So
I do like the format, but go ahead.
I think for clarification purposes, just so I'm clear on it, I think the difference that maybe Rick was trying to get at, that Tim's trying to further clarify, is that Youth and Family Action, we actually serve as board officers versus, a representative, liaison. So I think that's the clarification that we'd like to make, and make sure that, again, we're being uniform, that we serve as liaisons to that, or whoever, who's going to be a liaison to that committee is a liaison and not a voting board chair, because it really should be the community providing their feedback to us.
Correct, and that would be the intention of the liaison. So, of course, if that's, there's a meeting tomorrow, I'll be out. If we hear from them, if there's a change between now and the next meeting, which is the second read, then if you have any substantial changes other than typographical, that becomes a first read in itself. It's then, moved on to what would be a second read and adoption at a further meeting. So, if that's the direction that the council, if you still wanted that role as voting members on a committee, that would also be defined during the resolution process. But again, it's best practice to not have that, and I think that's what I'm hearing from you. But it is really for the community and the organizations to provide that input to you all.
I think we should go to public comment. Anybody wish to speak on this item? Yes, please, come on up. How are you? Good to see you.
Mr. Mayor and Council. So I'm just kind of want to highlight or ask about the selection and removal process, because it appears that there's like a change in there, that you will all have the ability to just appoint. So I feel like there's a lot of gray area in how that was just discussed and not real clear. I think that can come off less transparent. It could be dangerous to picking people that are going to align with your own ideas, and it may not be opened up to the community the way in which this was intended. And so I feel like that needs to be really clear and uniform. The selection process should be uniform. It shouldn't matter whether or not that guy's my neighbor and I know him well versus, this person has to do a presentation and sell themselves. And, well, this guy doesn't have to because we've all known him for 30 years. Like, I don't think that's fair. I think that you're opening the city up for possible litigation. It just seems a little shady, being honest with you. I think there's a lot of community members that maybe we don't agree with, or we all have different viewpoints, but that's what makes the committee a better committee, is when we get different viewpoints from different people, whether we agree or not with them, or, you know, we just have some really amazing community members that can contribute, have the time. So anyway, I think that process should be very uniformed, and I think it should be very transparent, and so that we don't look like we're excluding or have favorites or that we are picking. So I ask that you you do something like that. And then if I have a comment on something else that's not on the agenda, can I say it? Okay.
Anybody else wish to speak on this item? Well, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Lily Breno. This topic, I have something to say. I feel like if the position, even just volunteer, if it's not for public to apply, it comes to appointment, it feel like a little not, I would not say not fair, but maybe somebody really want to dedicate to do something. For example, maybe I want to do some position too, right? So actually today I missed one interview. It's a Bonita School District. They have the one CAC called Community Advisor Community. Okay, so I didn't know what is that. So I just set up, and then we have an interview. I mean, have a pretty much more than 10 people. It just went to the meeting and talk about what position is, why you guys need to participate. And then we really like it. One position is a volunteer, but everybody interested to go for it, right? And then today had the interview. Actually, I have something else to talk about in public comment, because since I was in LAPD, so I forgot the interview. So that means, but somebody else going to do this interview, because it's really important for some parents. So what I think about it is such a important some position, even just community is free and then it's volunteer, but for the people who willing to do something for the city, willing to do something for their family here, I think is kind of important. So I feel like if the process is going to be upon, I feel like a little, maybe will not enough transparency in the future. So that's what I want to say, okay? And I have something else to tell in public comment, because I was in LAPD twice, okay?
Thank you. It does actually say right in the process here that this applications, it says,
So
where is it on there?
selection and removal process, city council
There you go.
members will primarily make direct appointments, but allows for general application process. So similarly, this is what we did for water and sewer.
Right.
Folks submitted applications, and then from those people that were interested, that's who is selected from. So I always ask that please tell your friends, let them know when applications are posted, and we'll continue to
do it that way.
Yeah,
that
and
way.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, on that, it's very important that we will still continue to advertise as best as possible through, legal advertising in the paper and then on social media and everything else about, and then once we get into a system of consistency, then it'll be a known process once councils change and all that stuff. It's important that an application is required from everybody. So, and then all those applications will be distributed to all the councils. So hopefully we have more than 5 people for 5 positions. If we have 15, all council members get all 15 applications. They can look at it.
And the interview process, too.
Yeah, and the person need not reside in the district, because sometimes you may have, for some reason, qualified applicants in one district. The other thing is about the transparency and the enhancing different views. One of the problems that you see in an at-large or an interview process is that sometimes you may have a 3-2 council or a 4-1 council. And so a person who has a differing view may not ever get anybody that they agree with or want on a commission, because
they're voted out. And so under a direct appointment process, that person at least gets, somebody that they trust and understand or know, and they can appoint from qualified applicants to put onto that committee in order to, hear things or have a different point of view, because sometimes you have, groupthink based on majority put onto a committee, and that's not representing the entire community out there. So I believe that in a direct appointment process where you have that ability to make sure that there are differing point of views.
Any other public comment? Ms. Beauchamp.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The thing that I would request under the selection and removal process is that you obviously have applications from the volunteers who are wanting to be on that particular committee. If each council member is able to choose one from their district, and then if someone is not an applicant within that district, then they could choose someone so that you don't have, for example, everybody from District 4. You want to have a variety across the board, but also the volunteers or the residents have to put their hat in the ring. So, right. So, but it doesn't really say that. I mean, it just says, appointee, so we want to make it more fair. If every council member, mayor, pro tem, and chose one, then you'd have equal representation for the city, which is what I'm more about. So
we can only do what people apply. That's the problem sometimes, as you know. But yes, we'll try to make it as fair as possible. But you know how that works,
right? You
have to apply for it. We've had a lot of things that people didn't apply for.
I have.
I know you're good. You're good. But you want one more.
Sure, I got time. Thank you.
Thank you. Good point. Ms. Gabaldon. Oh, yes, Ms. Gabaldon.
Hello there again. So actually somebody who's also applied for a couple of committees and always gets passed over, so this is going to sound like a sore loser kind of thing, but I don't mean it like that. Only because I do so much work in so many other cities, and there's definitely considerable shenanigans that go on. We've got to be very, very careful about, and Mr. Domer's statement actually stacked this up. Right now, it's a 5-0 group that we have around City Council, and the deck is stacked. 50% of the city does not vote with the 5 council members right now on other issues. And when it comes down to selection, historically, it has been very favoritism. And that is very evident. And there's a lot of people in town that are very, very worried about that and the way that this could go down. So like for Planning Commission, for example, it's one of the most important committees that any city can have, especially what's going on with the state of California right now. And again this week, somebody on that commission, and I doubt this has happened yet, should be bringing up to the other members and raising it up the flagpole here in town about SB 79, about AB 404, about AB 702, 317, 609, SB 611, 63, 79, 40, 424, and 607, all of which every single city in California should be opposing. It's taking our local control away. That is really the job of what these committee members really should be about. It should be helping to elevate that up the food chain, because we're the ones that are we're the ones that live here. We're not paid. We're not outside consultants. This is our city. And it's just imperatively important for us to have the people who are selected, not just a bunch of yes people for you guys, and to actually have opposing people as part of these commissions is really going to be imperative. Otherwise, it really, really does look like it's just a bunch of favoritism. Like right now, for varying groups, we should have people who are part of the California Alliance of Local Electives, California Cities for Local Control, Friends of the Hills is another one, and then there's also United Neighbors, which is out of LA. We should have people who are involved with those outside groups, and right now we don't. And it would really make a difference because we do need more voices. We need more opposing voices inside these groups so that we're elevating different types of information versus just one-sided information. That's going to be very important going forward, especially with what's going on here in California.
Thank you, Ms. Gabaldon. Anyone else would speak? Mr. Bowen.
Council, let's be clear something. Devil's in the details. I read the resolution, and it's clearly an appointment. You can talk about all you want about applying and all that. It says each person, each council person can appoint their own person. Does not have to be from their district. There's nothing in here, at least what I read so far, and it's not on here, and I think this is deceiving, quite frankly. The selection is by council members only. For 5 years, Mr. Mayor, I've listened to you tell people, be involved, be involved, be involved, get more people involved. This eliminates that. You know it, and I know it. It says everybody gets to call their buddies up, say, apply for this, I will appoint you. Period. You've already taken away our right to vote. You've gone to district voting. Now you're going to take away our right to participate in various committees across the city. Come on, think about this. It's ridiculous. You've got terms, 2 terms, but it also says, if I remember right, the resolution says you can serve a partial term, correct? So you have somebody that fills a partial term for 3 years. As soon as that council person leaves, if they ever leave, that position is assigned by the new person that takes their spot. This couldn't be any more singularly identified as a council perk to apply, to put your own people in so there's no disagreements and no citizen part or limited citizen participation. Again, read the resolution that goes behind this. And if you do this, it's a shame on all of you. Open it up, keep it open, let people apply for positions, let them interview. If they're truly interested, then the entire council can vote on them instead of simply saying, I pick X, I picks Y. That's what the resolution reads. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Any other comments? Mr. Walters.
Hello again. Just a couple of quick things. As the chair of the Old Town Laverne Business Improvement District and by default, president of the Old Town Laverne Business Association, we've had discussions and we've talked with Ken and staff about this and think that this works out well. It'll reduce some of the bureaucracy, if you will, in dealing with some of these issues, but we'll still be able to. It'll actually give us more control over a lot of the things that we're involved with. One thing that we really treasure and rely on is our staff support, staff liaisons. It creates really good communication as opposed to just being an outside entity. And so I would hope that that relationship would continue. Obviously, some of the details and finances and things would change, but we'd like to maintain that connection as closely as possible. A couple other real quick things. I'm very happy to see the Parks Commission coming back. I served on the Parks Commission in 1977, and I always thought that was a really key commission for the community. And then one final thing, it's no secret I'm not a big fan of election by districts, and I think that there's a lot of value in having those that serve, volunteer on commissions and committees be selected from the pool of the best available. And I think that, especially in a city the size of Laverne, that having us be able to go out, select the best people to do those jobs, the most committed people, regardless of where, what block they live in, what place they live in, I think is a much better opportunity for citizen involvement. So with those, I would support the moves.
Thank you, Mr. Walters. Any other comment on this item? Actually, you already came up once, but no. Mr. Lyons.
This is my casual era. Just a few things. First, I wanted to not talk to this, but just really thank all of you for your service. In my new capacity, I have the pleasure of running into the mayor more frequently, and we are lucky to have you as mayor of Laverne. One of the things I oftentimes hear, either as a prelude or a conclusion of your conversation, is you tell people, I have something to ask you, I have something to tell you, and oftentimes that's a promotion of Laverne or an ask on behalf of Laverne. And we're lucky to have you at the regional space doing just that, amplifying the great things that are happening in Laverne, but also amplifying the asks that Laverne needs to ask beyond the boundaries of the city of Laverne. So thank you for that. I really like the terms. I like the fact that it's 2 4-year terms. You get a constant, fresh perspective. So for that, I thank you. I think that's great. I concur with the compliment. When I was a younger parent, my life was very centric to the school district. But beyond that was Parks and Rec. So I thank you for amplifying the importance of Parks and Rec in the city of Laverne by reestablishing the prestige through a commission, because it is that important. It connects family, it connects community, oftentimes beyond the school experience. So thank you for that. And I'm going to apologize for this comment because it may be misplaced, but I wasn't part of the earlier conversation, so this topic may have been discussed exhaustively. But from my vantage point, and I haven't scrutinized the minutia of the city budget in a long while, but I think public safety is a huge part of the city budget. We are a full-service city, unlike some of the cities that neighbor us, but we have our own police, we have our own fire, and I think a public safety commission, from my vantage point, is a big missing, because we as a community value the full-service city that we are, and I think we owe it to our citizens to engage and amplify their perspectives. And so if this hasn't been discussed exhaustively, maybe the chiefs aren't asking for this one more thing to be put on their plate. Like, oh, I may have to staff that in some form or fashion. But I think as a full-service city, we need to engage the public in that form or fashion. And again, I love what you're doing here. And I don't have, I read it and I think I live in a portion of Laverne that I think, if you looked historically, has lacked representation. And so you look back in the long history of Laverne and you tell me how many people have served on the council or on commissions that come from the southwest portion of Laverne. You can probably count it on one hand. Just say south of Arrow, south of Bonita, southwest of University of Laverne. I live in that portion, and I'm very grateful for the fact that we're represented by Wendy Lau, our council member, but I think it is important to have geographical representation. Ask for an open application. If you don't find that representation from each district, then go beyond. But I think there is significant value because there is a geographical perspective that you get. But I do agree, appoint the most qualified. But again, think of it geographically as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Anyone else wish to speak? Go ahead and close public comment. Bring it up to the dais.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just want to comment. Thank you, Matt, for your amazing words as always. You've been an amazing person. I know for over the years. Why does this thing echo? Let me come back. Oh, okay. Is that better? Okay. Just in regards to the Public Safety Commission, I know I spoke about that, and when I first came on to City Council, and over the years, in 26 years span that I have in public safety, I really believe instead of taking that time in a committee or commission, I'd love to see those individuals join the retired senior volunteer patrol, the RSVP, and make an even more impact. Because now, instead of just sitting around for about 4 hours, 8 hours, or 10 hours a month discussing issues that are affecting our community, why not be a part of that and be a part of the police department? I don't know, maybe we can talk to the chief of police, talk about just maybe it's a different name for our volunteer patrol, because I would like, of all ages, to volunteer their time, if possible, to get out there and be those watchful eyes in our community. The more the merrier. I'd love to see that grow for all of Laverne. And that's why I was going to push that hot and heavily when I first got on, but I understood that let's just take the time and get those people who are passionate about public safety. Well, we have a great police department. Please take that time and work there and see how you can make it better. I'm always available if anybody has any great ideas about public safety. I know I've talked to people in the communities that have been affected by several break-ins that I've had, and I've kind of talked to them, and along with the police chief and our city manager, to discuss the issues of public safety with the break-ins and stuff like that. But hey, we're available. At any given time, people will give me a call. Our counselor is available to talk about that. I won't be, so that's all I have for that. And then another issue was brought up is that, we're just a straight appointment. I don't see that. What I see is that the council affords opportunity. It's in this bylaw section here, 2.46.040, appointment and removal, and specifically states the city council shall use the many following appointment process. Go through it. A is right there. Applicants, right? Must complete an application to submit to the city clerk's office. So submit it. I don't believe in districts. I never have, and I'm a Laverne kid. I'm always going to be a Laverne kid from what is it? Arrow, because I used to live right there south of Arrow on Walnut and C Street, right there, along that lines to North Laverne. Anybody at any time can give me a call. And I don't step on other council members' toes, but, we're all here as one. And that's why I say that. But anybody who's qualified to bring a good idea, as we say in the Army, please bring it forward. No matter where you live in our great city of Laverne. It is true. Geographically, it does make sense. Somebody might not understand the problems that are the situation that happened up in North Laverne. If you're living down on Arrow, it's understandable. Or maybe the folks that are in North Laverne don't understand the impacts of roads and congestions on Arrow or Foothill. So maybe somebody that has that understanding of transportation. So true, that does have that effect of making it better. But we're still available to listen. So that's how I see it. That's all I have. I'm going to turn mine off now.
Comments? Oh, Kim?
Yeah, I just wanted to address a couple of the questions. As Mayor Pro Tem just pointed out, applications are required for all of these committees and commissions. We are required by law to request applications to post notice of vacancies in all of the committees and commissions that are appointed by the council. And while this does provide for direct appointments by individual council, there is also a provision that allows for a majority of the council to remove somebody if they are behaving in an improper or inappropriate way in the view of those council members. So it is an individual appointment, but it is subject to a majority vote for removal. This is in full compliance with California law.
Thank you. Mr. Crosby or Mr. Johnson?
Tim, I think like the youth sports committee that we're part of, typically at those meetings we have coaches, different sports leagues, give us an update on field conditions and other issues. And it's not necessarily something that lends to, I don't know, appointing somebody that would not necessarily be involved as much. We want to make sure that somehow that we're still getting the same information that we need from those coaches or managers of the different organizations. That would be my only concern with that committee.
I think, yeah, they're required on the committees as far as the coaches but I mean, the continuity is very important. I think that's what I was stating too, that make sure that we have a liaison, that we would maybe put that in there, that we would frequent them when we need to obviously under the person of the direction.
Yeah, because under the proposed youth sports working group, it would be made up of the presidents or their designees of those organizations. It wouldn't be direct appointments of the council because it's more, discussing those field issues and other, issues that are pertinent to the different leagues and working with the city. Anything would come up through the Parks and Rec Commission.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was trying to get to, is that not necessarily the council that should be appointing somebody who doesn't belong.
Mr. Crosby.
I think this city council on some of our last nominations and appointments, we have put on people on commissions that had not necessarily have our same views. I believe that we have done a good job of trying to get representation of across Laverne, and looking at our districts as well to be represented. I believe the track record kind of speaks for itself, going through and nominating past commissioners, and still move forward with that.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Councilmember Lau.
I just want to clarify too. I think when we ask for folks to participate in items, and I know I get, can get lengthy with all of the announcements and things that I may have during council comments, but I do try to, as my colleagues do, try to let you know when meetings are happening. Those are still open. So even if you aren't appointed to a position, there are still ways to be involved within the city, much like all of you are here to be involved in the city and have a say and have a voice. So I don't want to forget that part of it too. And I think a lot of times when you attend meetings like that, that's how you end up eventually getting appointed or recognized or whatever. I mean, I think I first came on the radar many moons ago when a council member passed, and I put in an application and gave a speech. Was not selected, but it put me on the radar for planning commission. So I think that when you put yourself out there too, that is an opportunity to be recognized and to be a voice in the community. But even without a title, I just want to remind our citizens and our residents that there is always an opportunity to be heard.
Thank you, Councilmember Lau. I take offense to some of the comments that were made. We're doing this for a reason. That's to organize what's unorganized. We're putting it to paper. Our process for people applying is fair. I have made appointments outside my district. Mr. Bowen, you're one of those. Ms. Gabaldon, as far as your comments, we have an 8-mile square radius of Laverne, and the people that have served on these commissions have been people from the core of Laverne. And I think we've done a pretty darn good job at it. If people want to come on these committees, they're more than welcome. Now, obviously, if there's a bunch of committees and there's a bunch of people, then we'll make that selection. I don't know how more fair you could get it. We're following the letter of the law. So, all these different committees you're talking about. But as far as fair and as far as how we do this, there's no setup here. I was selected the same way, how many years ago, Mr. Kendrick? 14 years ago, probably, on a planning commission. I'm in construction. I think I have a little bit of knowledge. I take total offense to that. I'm sorry, guys. We're doing a darn good job here. And I back my council up, too, the decisions they've made for these people on these active transportation. We got some of the finest people in Verne. They understand what's going on. They make the comments that need to be made. They make adjustments to our people that come in and say, we're going to do this for the road. No, you can't do that. We need to do this. I'm sorry. If you want to be on a committee, you're more than welcome to come up here and apply for one. Now, if you're chosen or not, as Councilmember Lau would say, I remember when she came up. Someone else was chosen. This isn't favoritism up here. This is putting people in place that know what they're doing for that particular area that they're doing. We're even adding commissions now. I'm sorry, I take total offense to that. We're doing a darn good job. And I appreciate the work that City Manager Doman and our attorney has put together. This is a lot of work. This has taken months and months to reevaluate our commissions and how we do this. Because it was very, very unorganized, and now we're putting it together on paper, and it's going to be a fair way to be able to apply for a commission and to be appointed by a city council member, and hopefully we can get them out of the district, as Mr. Lyon said, because that is important to get a very, very big fabric of all of our community so everybody has an input. I'm sorry, I take offense to that. We've done a great job. And I'm sorry you guys aren't happy with that. But Mr. Bowen, you're on a commission, the Ad Hoc Water Committee. You're not in my district, and I selected you. No, you're not, because I gave you time, and you said your piece. I'm sorry, I take offense to all of what you guys said. We do a darn good job here. Our city's in great shape financially. Like every other city, we have our problems. But right now, this particular item, I agree with it. I think we're in the right direction. We've all had great comments, and we're going to move forward with it. Is there a motion to introduce the title only and waive further reading of the ordinance entitled An Ordinance of the City Council, City of Verne, California, adding Chapter 2.46 and amending Chapters 2.48 and 2.54 of Title II of the City of Verne Municipal Code, setting forth general provisions governing board, commission, and committee appointments and office?
So
Second.
moved.
Vote, please.
So just to clarify, that was a motion by Crosby and a second by Cashel-Figuita. We'll just repeat that. A motion by Crosby is seconded by Cashel-Figuita and approved 5-0.
Thank you. Next item is the architectural enhancements for the Metro A Line, formerly Gold Line Transit-Oriented Development Pedestrian Bridge Project. City Manager Domer, please call forward the staff member who are reporting.
I'm going to call forward Cody Howing to provide this presentation.
Vote again.
Hey, what's up, Cody?
I'm not sure I'm as good as you, Mr. Crosby, but we'll see.
I heard he's a golfer. Is that true? Watching you.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. This evening we have an opportunity to discuss architectural enhancements for the Metro A Line, formerly Gold Line Transit-Oriented Development Pedestrian Bridge project. The recommendation for this evening is that City Council provide direction and feedback for the architectural features presented in the staff report, including decorative concrete slip forms, architectural lighting, and bridge signage. So as we all know, the Metro A Line project is starting to come to an end, and construction is winding down on that. Opening dates have not been selected, but the anticipation is it is soon. So part of the long-term outlook planning that we've been doing is including other features to supplement or complement the Gold Line station and what that might bring to the community. In that, a pedestrian bridge offering a connection from the station platform, thank you very much, to the Fairplex campus to the south there across the street from Arrow Highway and over the Metrolink railroad track lines, has been evaluated and is currently in the design process. The bridge sits at somewhere about 95% complete in terms of design. It's a project that we've been working diligently with a great team at the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments to help see that through. Most recently, the last item that was brought to City Council was on November 18th, 2024, which was an MOA with the City of Laverne and the San Gabriel COG to continue that partnership where they maintain that lead agency role through the design phase into construction. And once they're done doing the heavy lifting on that, they will turn the keys over to the City of Laverne. I'll take this opportunity to introduce some of the attendees that are on Zoom. We have Kevin Lai, Director of Capital Projects. We have John Boucher, Senior Project Manager. Vanessa Guerrera, Management Analyst. And Liz Ho from KPFF, Project Manager there. So before we get into kind of the fun pictures, I want to highlight the budget and kind of where we stand on features with the bridge project. So building bridges is not a cheap venture. Going back to 2023, the construction cost estimate sits at about $26.26 million. In the staff report, you'll see that there's a summary of our current funding. We've got very much same list as was highlighted in that last MOA, with one addition that I want to also highlight, Andrea Blockinger for helping see through the grant. That would be the Measure M Pathways to the Future, for an additional $2 million. So right now, we have identified $28.1 million. Now, the hope is, and we fully anticipate that amount of money will cover the project budget, but we will not know until we open bids. And so there's a strategy that's going to be put forth with a lot of these items that we're discussing this evening as additive alternates. I know we've discussed that in past projects with the group. What it is it creates that flexibility for the city to get numbers and then evaluate how those numbers fit into the budget. The bridge as it stands, and again, going back to the $26 million price tag, is, I'll call it the base model, sort of the no frills options. This evening tonight, and we'll move into the next item, let me advance the slide. Okay, so decorative concrete slip forms is one thing that we're going to talk about tonight. So as we've all encountered through our normal daily activities, certainly near Caltrans projects, large embankments, large walls, structures, the days of just flat concrete walls is starting to diminish, luckily. And so we have an opportunity to integrate some imagery into the embankment of the bridge. And so what you see here is a graphical representation of, we'll call it the hills and trees concept, if I'm using the terminology correctly. And so this embankment will be visible from the station plaza. So as you enter and exit the train platform, this will be to the south of you. And for those commuting or walking along Arrow Highway, we'll see the other side. So we've got two, well, I'll highlight both options real quick and we'll circle back. So this one, as the name would indicate, is hills and trees. Very original as engineers. So the option A, which council will see here for the column, you'll notice that there's a tree option that will wrap around, and there's other imagery that I'll cycle ahead. Or there's option B, which is a more, it's sort of mimicking a helix, and we'll get to the photos. Skip past it. You can kind of see on this cover page here that there's a helix on the south side, and this is to help make sure that we've got ADA accessibility. It's sort of a passive bridge, low cost in terms of maintenance. And then the footprint, obviously the Fairplex has their needs and interests for their site, and so maintaining a minimal footprint for a bridge that has to cross higher than normal PED bridges because we're crossing over Metrolink, and so it's a much higher ground clearance that we have to achieve there. I'll go back. So this is the hills and trees, sort of self-explanatory in terms of what the imagery is. I think the kind of the idea is that it would mimic some of the landscape features that we see in the city and complement the station plaza. Again, sorry, not again, I haven't mentioned it. Falling back on the citrus and agricultural industry history of the city. Here is maybe a better rendering that's kind of more clear for council and those attending and watching the meeting to see how that might appear on the bridge structure there. So. We'll call that hills and trees. All right, so the other one that's ahead is oranges. Yes, another original title for this one. So as council will see, we've got an array of sliced citrus fruit, oranges of various size, placed in sort of a random manner, creating sort of an interesting feel and theme, again, harkening back to agricultural days of the city, tying, of course, also to the Gold Line Station, which has, of course, the fruit picking ladder art that's there. There's murals and other items there. So very much like the other option, we've got two options. We've got for the column here, sliced oranges, or option B, which is a little bit more of a wave. Now, the last option, we talked about the helix of the bridge. This one sort of goes back to some of the other design elements. There's a meandering, cable-ish type looking bar that moves around, has sort of a wave or roller coaster feel to it. Again, tying back these elements so we have a cohesive bridge. And here is a rendering again of that option. And so, and I'll keep on going through. I mean, if council wishes to discuss, feel free to stop me. I'll move on to the next ones and we can circle back and have. We've seen trees and oranges, yes. I'll leave council with one anecdote on this. I had an opportunity to speak at an elementary school for a career day last week, and I figured I'd take these for a test drive. 9 out of 10 children preferred the oranges. It was
absolutely.
Hands down. It was very difficult for me to tell them
So
that they're
you're relating
wrong
the
because my
council to
preference
children?
was
Is that what you're
trees.
saying?
I think we do a survey at the schools. It'd be good.
Yeah, I think
So difficult decisions. My apologies for presenting those with
They're
you tonight,
very
but that
financially
is
inept.
the job. So the next item, we're going to talk about lighting. So the bridge is obviously a significant structure. It's very different from what's there. It will stand out. And so the goal with our these options that we're presenting is that we make sure that it's a signature element for the city, something to be proud of, something that creates sort of an ambiance for the station plaza, drives users to please use the bridge rather than cross the street at grade and do those things that we're trying to avoid.
Cody,
be it
can
safety.
I just stop you
Absolutely.
real quick? There was lighting included in that bridge originally.
Correct. Yep.
But it was up lighting, is that correct? Or was it rail lighting in the rails?
Yes, that's exactly right. So these are architectural enhancements. So I've got sort of a
it was
footprint
all
of the bridge.
LED lighting
in the
across
handrail.
the handrails.
And so we'll call it the base lighting is to light the deck. So that area, that minimum standard of safety. Now, lighting the deck is great for the users. Those looking at the bridge from a different perspective, be it on the street, plaza, sidewalk, that lighting won't come across as strong. I mean, sure, you'll probably see it, but the lighting enhancement that we're discussing or presenting to council are more of the architectural type. So this is over and above the minimum safety needs of the bridge. So, yes. Yes. So with this project, the design team has been working with Edison for, I want to say, the better part of 2 years, working with their designers. What we have on the south side of the street there is a combination of distribution lines and more significant transmission lines. And so the plan of attack right now, and these relocations for the utilities, and it is important to highlight to the council, through our franchise agreement with SoCal Edison, is that this will be on their dime. These relocations are not burdens of the project. The transmission lines, let me take a step back. The franchise agreement does not designate how they get out of our way, just that they get out of our way. And so the transmission lines, being what those facilities are going to remain above ground. They're going to ramp up and over, ensuring that we have adequate clearances, satisfying all of Edison's needs and our needs for the bridge. And so what that'll entail is, I want to say 3, if I'm not mistaken, new steel poles. The total height of those poles will be 95 feet, if I'm keeping my numbers straight. And so we are actively working with Edison on that. I'm sure when we're going to get to construction is going to be another question that probably gets brought up. The absolute date is not locked in yet. We're working towards it, and hopefully in this summer be towards out to bid. But for council's information, the engineered steel poles to carry those the future alignment of the transmission lines take 1 year for manufacturing from order. So we are approaching that milestone point where we can authorize Edison to order them, but we can't build the bridge until those transmission lines are out of our way. So that just for context of time and where we're at. Now the distribution, those will go underground. So we will be eliminating at least that from the overhead feature. That, and I believe there is one telecom line, if I'm not mistaken, out there as well. So those will go underground. So they will be a feature of the bridge, up and over the bridge, being the transmission lines. But yes, it is that is a significant feature of our utility coordination that we've been working through. So, getting back on the subject of lighting, on this photo you'll see sort of the pink highlight, which is the main span of the bridge as it comes up and over Arrow Highway, and then you'll see the yellow highlight, which is again that embankment where we were talking about the decorative form liners with the oranges or the hills and trees. So the lighting, and we'll get to each one of these options in terms of lighting. So up on the bridge deck, the pink section, I don't have options to present for you, but we're willing to take feedback on the concept that's being highlighted. This would be uplighting on the safety fence, I call them rib structures. So this would be uplighting that would help enhance the appeal to those driving by and kind of highlight that the bridge is a focal point of the area. So that would be the pink area. There's only one option being presented. And this, of course, as Mayor Hepburn mentioned, would accompany the downlighting that's under the handrails. As for the embankment, there's two options that we've been looking at. There's the upper option, which is more of your typical individual light fixture that's uplighting on that embankment.
Is that included?
This is not included in the $26 million that I'll give you the pricing.
Was any lighting included on the exterior of the ramp up bridge?
Only the handrail lighting. That's going to be.
But the handrails are going to be.
They're going to be
grade, and
yes.
they're going to be transitioning up, but they're not going to light the side.
Exactly, they're not going to light the side. Now we will have some ambient light from the plaza that sheds onto this, and as well we'll have street lighting and safety lighting from the traffic signals. So there will be some lighting, but the focal point of that lighting will not be the bridge, and so that's where these concepts come in as kind of again highlighting those architectural features.
That area. What's the distance for before it ramps up to the overpass over Arrow?
Because
you get that one column.
Yes.
Once you ramp up, you hit the column, and then it's open air.
Lineal
feet.
I'll take a wild guess on this. But I believe somewhere to the tune of about 150 or so feet. That would be my estimation of approximately how long that embankment is.
Okay.
I don't know.
Cody, before I forget,
dimensions in other. Yes.
Sorry.
No, absolutely.
Is there a way? Just a recommendation I would love to see is a way we can light this bridge up with different colors of lights. For example, maybe on 4th of July we can light it up red, white, and blue.
Did you give him your checkbook?
No.
just
I just suggested if we're gonna do the lights, it's I don't know. I'm not an engineer. You are.
$28 million. Remember,
Mayor Pro Tem. We absolutely investigated all kinds of lighting options to make sure
the handrails could be multi.
So the RGB, the red, green, blue, LED, multi. So the infrastructure to do that, absolutely possible. It does come with a cost. In addition to the cost, it's a lot more heavier on the programming.
So basically, he's telling you no.
It's a matter of cost, and so it's something. If that is council's wish, we can go back and look at further.
That's my wish. That's my wish.
We also looked at LED array screen mesh to see was there maybe lighting opportunities. To be honest, it felt a little too Vegas, for what it is. But those features are very expensive. They drive up the cost. They drive up the operations and maintenance costs because once we build it, then we still have to, change the oil and rotate the tires type stuff on these things. So,
well, I think with this discussion, which what we're trying to get is that there may be some alternatives to that, including. So I know that there's a Fire Chief Nig can talk about this, but there's a effort to illuminate buildings red in an upcoming Fire Appreciation Week. And so we're looking at that as far as in one of our upgrades of some of the outdoor lighting. We're looking at, okay, well, you can get those attachable LED bulbs and you can make them red or white when you need to, or maybe at other times when the Dodgers win, we can go blue and white and all that stuff. And when the Angels win, well, that'll never happen. So there may be options like that, but that's where the ad alternative could be looked at. So we could always throw something in to say, what would it cost? And then it'd be like, okay, Cash, open up your paycheck. And
so I'll get to the cost, and we can
let's continue on. We got
absolutely.
Now, is that lighting for both sides of the wall, or the other side by the wall?
Yeah, I believe that's the intention. I think the views are more sort of presenting
on the Arrow
what it might
Highway
be from the
not the parking lot side and the station side.
It will be both sides.
Okay, so it's double lighting.
Yes, on each side.
Good.
So we've got the again the sort of the hot point light fixtures, individual light bulbs. And we've got the more flat lighting, which is more of a sort of a rope light LED feature. Maintenance, I believe, just for council's information, the individual light bulbs is probably going to be much easier to maintain than the rope light, which can be maintained, but the segments to replace will probably be a little bit more of a process. So, yes, option A and option B, if you will, on that. All right, and so now we're going to move on to signage opportunities. So with this bridge, we will have the mesh safety screen, which is mandated through Metrolink and CPUC for this particular crossing, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a kind of a cool picture. I'll leave it on here for a second. As you can see, sort of that rail that moves around has sort of that organic or sweeping motion. That ties back to some of the other form insert for the columns that we presented earlier. Here's another cool picture of the overall bridge, just to get the scale of it. Like I mentioned, because we're crossing over the railroad, we have to go much higher. Now, we have ADA considerations and concerns that we have to clear in terms of not exceeding certain slopes and maintaining rest areas every so frequently. So that has played a part in the length of the bridge as well. The other major feature that was a good design element was that the entry of the bridge on the north side, so at the station side, is right at a point right nearly where you're coming off the station platform as you're crossing through over the tracks. So it sort of welcomes pedestrians into using the bridge rather than potentially jaywalking, hopefully not crossing in the Metrolink tracks and other different creative ideas of how to cross the street. So the goal is to improve safety. Whoops, I am clicking too fast. This is it doesn't display as well as hope on this screen, but the signage. So we've put in City of Laverne as just some generic text. If City Council have different ideas of what that signage might be, we're looking at possibly using this as sort of a gateway sign, very much to the gateway sign that is currently under construction this week over on East Street. So again, this doesn't really convey all that well, but the point is that the signage is integrated into the screen, and again, you can kind of see that it's a little bit of a ghost image. There we go. So that's the other alternative that we're looking at, more of a box structure. So that is not lit right now. I imagine we could light it if that was the interest of the city council. We could. So it depends on if you like the mesh, then there's uplighting that will hit that. There's a few different options on the mesh that we'll get to. So City of Laverne, again, this is a font that's very similar to the font that was selected on the gateway sign for the Gold Line on Vernon East Street. Different view of that. And I will get to the mesh. All right, so the mesh, there's a few different options for mesh. Of course, paint is an option. These more manufactured mesh panels honestly might convey a little better than the paint, but they obviously will probably also come with a cost. Well, so there's a number of features in the MOA that we're not bringing tonight because they're not really architectural features. They're sort of standard features that we're looking at: blue light, emergency call response, VMS cameras, quick connect couplers for water plumbing up there. So if we needed to get up there,
is that included in the overall $28 million we have for the
so
bridge?
the $28 million is funding that's been identified right now. The estimate at the 26 does include inflation factors, as long as we stay to the schedule. Now, what we've assumed is that the inflation should hold consistent, but we never know. When end up construction costs, as you well know,
Tariffs?
It's I wish
Okay,
I could read the
continue.
tea leaves
Keep
to tell
going.
you the future.
Keep going.
We're trying to plan contingencies.
No, you're good. Keep going. Sorry.
So, and then here's another option in terms of mesh kind of text and how that might be presented. So, open to ideas from or feedback from council. And here's sort of that extruded steel type with the paint. So, all right. So I'm gonna come back to costs now that we've gotten through sort of the fun things. The less.
I think we really want to narrow it down to options.
Yes.
Lighting, no lighting, up lighting, no rope lighting. That's just a suggestion.
Yes.
Just the things that we're going to have to look at and make a decision. We'll open up public comment, let them make a comment on it. But I think just shorten it up to options, costs. We have our overall cost already, but these are added features that are not included in the bridge construction.
Correct.
Everything. Water,
Today.
quick connects, emergency call systems, any exterior lighting other than the handrail lighting, everything's extra. And also the features and the forms and for whatever artwork we go with, correct?
Right. So just to touch base on the costs, just for council's information, the form inserts for the embankment walls is estimated at $180,000, and the structure columns is at $70,000. For just that concrete item, we're looking at approximately $250,000 in the estimate. As far as the lighting, there is the uplighting, and that's up on the deck. That's estimated at $272,000, that line item by itself. That's just the deck. Then we've got the embankment wall lighting, which is the either flat or the kind of the individual fixtures. That's at $100,000. Of course, the bridge sign is sort of open to feedback, getting direction. But just between those two line items, we're talking about $622,000 in architectural enhancements to the bridge. So, coming back to the RGB, it's something we definitely looked at, but you can see how the costs are mounting quickly. So,
question though,
absolutely.
On the walls that have the decorative, they're not smooth.
They're not smooth.
Now,
there will be a vertical impression.
So
yes.
Does that cause an issue of trying to get off graffiti?
So, I as much as we'd like to graffiti-proof everything, they will do what they do, and sometimes it is very amazing how they put that energy towards that. Our assumption or anticipation, rather, would be that because we're putting these textures on there, one, the texture is less ideal to write your name or whatever you're putting up there, and two, because the texture's there, there's already a graphical feature there that hopefully will prevent or reduce the interest to even use that as their slate for graffiti.
And across the bridges that are going over Glendora and San Dimas, you see that they've used a lot of texture on
Yes.
the walls.
Yes. A lot of lighting.
You, sir.
That concludes my report, so I'm here for any questions.
What was the signage for the?
So the signage, we haven't identified a cost.
I know.
So
you'll bring us back with either the fence portion that's part of the fence.
Yes.
The protective structure, and you'll give us one that's the metal signage. That's just one side coming into Laverne.
I mean, if that was the vision for council, we could do one side, but my presumption would be both sides.
So whatever it is, it's double.
Well, we'll try to give you one number.
I understand. I'm just saying it's two signs, so we have to figure. Okay, that's fine. You'll bring back that with lit signs. Probably.
Yeah, I'll highlight one thing that I failed to mention, but it's in the report. And I briefly touched on it. Our partners at the COG are going to be the lead agency for this project. And so with that MOA that was signed back in November of 24, they are the responsible group for awarding the contract. They'll see it through management, all those features. So that feature won't necessarily be the burden of the city of Verne, but they are partners, and they will coordinate with us on once those bid prices are open. I'm sure I can bring something back to the council for final say or feedback on that if something makes the cut or doesn't, or however. But we are reaching towards the end of the design bid documents, so we want to present something so we get those numbers.
A shout out to all the COG members, and thank you all for a great job, well done, and also our other partners in there. Thank you very much. I see them quite often, and they're very excited about the bridge. So
It's a great
as
team
we
to work
are.
with.
So.
Yes.
Thank you. I think we'll go ahead and open up public comment right now. Anybody wish to speak on public comment? That would be no. We're going to close public comment. So we bring it back up to the dais. Is there a motion to provide direction and feedback for the architectural features presented to the staff report, including decorative concrete slip forms, architectural lighting, and some bridge signage? So basically, you're going to bring back, our thing is you're going to bring back all the different proposals, whether it be the uplighting, and then all the additionals, which would be your emergency call systems, your hose bibs, and all that stuff, and you're going to line item for us. And whether it be both sides, which would be the signage on the screen mesh, signage, or you would have the steel signs, and then it would be the slip forms you already told us, and also the which is the uplighting you already told us.
So
I mean,
if council could provide direction on whether it's oranges or hills and trees, if there's
I
a
think
preference
that's,
on there.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I think what we need at this point is that whether we go with the fifth grade recommendation or if we,
I like the oranges.
Make a determination that the trees and hills or versus oranges or the circular faces.
No, one of the designs, one or the other.
Oh, well.
Council. Okay, let's make them. Let's go ahead. Who wants what?
We haven't thought of that.
I personally like the hills and trees, like Cody, but I will defer if people really like the oranges / wagon wheels. That's what I see when I look at them. So
that is true.
I would go with our picking heritage with the ladders for the picking of the oranges and go with the oranges myself personally. But
can you do both?
I'm
not an architect. I don't know that would be advisable.
Mr. Crosby. Just pick one. It'll be here forever.
The kids know.
Okay, that would be oranges. Mr.
We have
Johnson.
we have two oranges right now.
Two oranges.
One,
Mr. Johnson. Okay, we're going to bypass him. Cash.
I'm going to go with the kids. That way they can
Oranges.
see
Oh,
that.
that's already-
and
it's
they
already
all
done. We already
remember
decided what
we
we're
picked
gonna
that.
see.
As long as they know, hey, they picked that. All right? Let them know.
I'll report back.
Thank you.
So, Cody, on that, we have the oranges slices.
Yes.
Oranges. As the kids would say, oranges.
Oranges.
On the orange slices, council, there was two options for the
Oh, no,
the
seriously.
columns. There was
Seriously. Burn oranges
the
or-
additional oranges,
Well-
or the waves. Option A or B.
Oh, the oranges. Oranges.
Got it.
Oranges. Oranges. Just go with the
Thank you.
oranges. There you go. That means oranges. You might want to give us that information, Mr. Howling, next time that the kids did decide on the oranges. We can
My apologies,
mull
Mayor.
over that, you know?
This was Friday.
Because they are the ones that are going to inherit this bridge.
Friday morning.
Okay,
I
you got
figured
it.
let's see. So
Okay.
Okay,
You
Cody,
have your
next
direction?
one I need direction
next
on?
one is the lighting. So this would be. You got it. One
My
more.
personal opinion is we stay to the lighting on the exterior of the ramp up. Those lights can be controlled with different colors. If we chose to do different colors, those in-ground lighting could be made that way very easily. And I would go with the in-ground lighting that can be replaced, the ones on the top picture. That's the most user-friendly and maintenance-friendly, just from a standpoint of electrical contractor.
I take your word on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go with that. But I would make in there the option that we could do, if it's LED, we could do a changing of lighting
Thank
color.
you.
Which would be just a matter of a control panel. If not, we go straight with that.
Understood.
Thank
Um,
Okay.
And then the last item, the sign. I know we didn't. Give
You're
you
going to
all the
have
options.
to. You're going to
Maybe
have to
there's
give
one
us
or
a
two.
cost option on that
Okay.
because honestly, I don't like
Okay.
the mesh at all. But I know those steel signs are going to be very expensive, and you're going to have to put extension LED lighting that's going to light up on it,
Yeah.
and that's going to be not cheap, especially in that form. That's
think
going to be
that-
more than those ground lights.
Yeah, that feedback is appreciated. So we'll take that back with the design team and work through that.
They're not can't do solar. It's got to be lit.
But I guess the one question on that is, does the city council want to see City of Laverne as a signage across? All 5 of your faces.
I got an idea.
Can I be like
Has anybody thought about this? I know these are spancrete, and these are pre-formed sections that could put in.
Correct.
But in the form, when they make these, could they just put City of Laverne in the form? We paint it up and highlight it with some lights.
I'll discuss with the design team. On
I mean,
how
why
that
don't?
might
Why
be.
couldn't you do that in the form?
Make it integral into
I mean,
the concrete?
you got enough room. Just, huh? I don't know. But I mean, if you did that, if we could reduce the size of the letters coding, they could put it in the form of the span. Why wouldn't we do that? And we could just put some uplighting on it.
Let me look into that with the design team. I think, Mayor, on that point,
A lot cheaper.
it's going to be also very nice to maintain, as we're not worrying about paint, sheet metal, things that it will weather, it will patina.
Well, all this stuff is just added, but if they put it in the form and it's not much more, I would say do that, and then we could just run electrical over that and put some uplighting on each side and be done with it.
I'll discuss with the design team and maybe bring back another concept on this subject.
Got dogs that need to get out. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. With that, do I have a motion? What we just discussed: oranges, uplighting, and then we're going to come back with the bridge with the signage. Is that correct? Motion. I noticed. Vote, please. Oh, Johnson.
Thank you.
I know, it's like over here.
That item,
Thank you,
motion
Cody.
by Cashel
Thank you.
Figueroa, seconded by Lau, and approved 5-0.
Okay. Ready. There is no other business tonight, so we'll move on to public comments. This is the time set aside for anyone wishing to address the city council on items not listed on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The Brown Act prohibits the city council from engaging in discussion on any item not in posted agenda. Your concerns may be referred to staff, a place for discussion later date. I will be holding a 3-minute time limit on any discussion today. At this time, anybody wishing to speak, please come up to the podium. Anybody wish to speak? Robin.
So originally I wanted to, so I'd like to see, and maybe it's been addressed, I don't know, but now that the gold line is ending here in Laverne, I don't know.
It's correction. It's ending in Pomona.
Pomona,
Yes.
practically Laverne.
Almost a mile away, but yes.
So I used to live on, I think, F3rd, lived on 3rd. I've lived all over the place. So I do know that the criminal activity where it ends right now in Azusa has been, the call volume has been horrendous. And I'd like to know, I think there should be an agenda item discussing what we're going to do because we're going to need funds. This is going to become the hub for the homeless and the dangerous activities because that's who's going to be riding this gold line, and it's really going to affect the. I feel for the people that live in that surrounding area, and so I'd like to know what the plan is to keep that area safe. We're gonna need a lot of money, and now that this has changed, so I don't know who's originally where it was going to end and what the situation was, but I'm hoping it's not on our backs in Laverne, and I'd like to know what the game plan is because there's going to be a lot more criminal activity. It just is. Because you're going to get people coming from all over the place because they're going to get a free ticket, and I think we need to take it real seriously and come up with a plan to keep the city safe, to keep those neighborhoods safe. It's a big deal. So I'd like to see, moving forward, something on the agenda explaining to the community what we're going to do to keep this community safe and prevent it from becoming, like what's going on right now in Azusa. And I don't know how we're going to prevent it, but we're certainly going to need money and more police and that. And then just to address, because I don't know, I felt like I just got yelled at for discussing the agenda item and bringing up the selection. Yeah, okay. I don't know if that was addressed towards me, but I just want to, because I wanted to come back and just refer back to Mr. Domer, because I understand that you said that the appointing is to prevent from one side, but it can also go the other way. And that's why I bring that up, having a more uniform and making sure that there is a prevention, a more uniform selection. And so I just wanted to make sure that, because I felt like I got yelled at, and I'm like, well,
No, your point was well taken.
Okay.
No. Thank you.
Right, okay.
Thank you, Robin. Lily.
Everybody tired.
You got.
But actually, I continue this topic. This is two picture. 1 week ago.
Lily, I wish I had X-ray vision, but I can't see that.
But anyway, I sent to police, twice. Because last Monday, and then I get two messages from my two neighbors that, hey, a guy tried to cut a guy from your backyard, get out from your backyard. I said, what? And then I checked the message at 7:30. Since I stay up late, I get up late. So when they call, I didn't pick up the phone. So nobody called police. And then when I saw the message, it said, nobody, only me at home. So I checked the message and go say, oh my God, my side gate is open. And then the dog keep barking, and then saw the message, he might come back again. So I just run away, lock my back door, run outside, get in my car and call police, okay? So it happened last Monday. Because it happened, this guy, it's not the first time, and then he get caught by my neighbor, get out from my side door, okay, and then he's looking for his phone. And then my neighbor said, you not belong here. You couldn't go back to look for your phone, right? We don't know where the phone is, but we really find the phone yesterday. And then I dropped the phone this morning to the LAPD and say, find out who's that guy. I don't want him to come back to my backyard to look for his phone. Is that scary? It's kind of scary. So I want to bring up is I talked to my two neighbors. They say, yeah, not surprised, because even this morning, 3 teenagers get caught, try pass to the another neighbor. And then I traced him to the Y Avenue. That's happened 1 week ago. And then today I met him talk about I went to police LPD to drop the phone, and then he said, yeah, no surprise yesterday. This morning, 8th Street, they called police because they saw people camping in the park. So what I bring up is we have so many concerns in our neighborhood. Homeless start to wander around to look for the place to live in my backyard. Last night, maybe after a party, I didn't know if I locked the gate because we couldn't check the camera. We couldn't see how he get in, maybe from our back. Get in my neighbor, jump to my house, drop his phone right next to the fence. So we found the phone yesterday. So it's kind of scary. So that's what we're concerned about after Go Line open. My house is very close to Go Line, right? So we already talked about this 2 years ago. So it's happening. I just want the LPD will really find out who's that guy, and then he will not come back again to look for his phone. It's very scary, okay? So I hope to increase the attention, because it's not really on the report last week. Only have the report number today. So say, hey, it's not on the report last week. Maybe it's happened too much. It's not even become a case. After I dropped the phone evidence, I say I could see the number. Somebody call him, and then I see the name there. Gonna find out who is it, right? You must have some way to unlock. And then the lady
Lily,
said we couldn't unlock.
Your time is up.
I know. So
Thank you.
increase the awareness.
The police department's aware of it. We got the best man in the world here sitting, looking, listening to it. Thank
And
you.
please, Lily, don't chase them. Just call the police.
Don't chase them.
Okay.
Mr. Bowen. Yeah. Don't do that, Lily. Just please.
I'll make this as short as I can. Mr. Mayor, it's great to see you got worked up over our comments, so at least there's some passion there.
I never have a lack for passion with our community, Mr. Bowen, and you know that.
That's what I mean. So it's good
I wouldn't
to have.
do this every
That's
day,
that's
multiple hours a day, Mr. Bowen,
it's
to
a
do what
two-way
I do
street.
with my favorite council here.
Is this my time or yours? Thank you. Last month, after seeing that the city wasn't planning on honoring the Irish Heritage Month, I had requested a proclamation. I sent an email to the mayor, received confirmation, and then when the proclamation came, it did not go to me. The mayor and the city attorney invited everyone in the audience. First time I've ever seen that in 8 years that I've come here. And the biggest thing was that one person that was in the audience here has departed, took the opportunity to hijack the Irish Heritage Month and turn it into an LBGT diatribe. She had a written statement, so obviously she knew that she was going to be invited to speak. None of you tried to stop her. It's amazing. I've never seen that in the entire time I've been there, and I think it's a shame, quite frankly. I'll shorten the rest of it. I want to talk about LV3C just for a minute. Mr. Mayor, 5 years ago, we supported you, as we always have. I still do. But we've done a lot of things for this city. And I hear comments being made that the city's talking to other groups. You talked to this whole committee thing today. But I would remind everybody that the LVC group was formed when the previous council passed Resolution 1851 and 1852, sidelining the then councilman, Mr. Hepburn. And the city attorney and the city manager wanted to get him out of the way and have those committees report directly to them instead of the entire council. So we formed a group that is now 1,700 people. And when the mayor was elected 5 years ago, he won by 1,200 votes. We had about 1,200 members. So if you want input from the city citizens, we would like to be involved. Just like apparently you have contacted other groups. Sure. Thank you.
Ms. Gavaldon.
Just so I can speak up for myself here, leaders and elected should always expect to be offended. You are not infallible, and all residents should be taken seriously. And if you do get offended by something that is said, you should be spending much more time reaching across the aisle. We don't see it happening here, and I generally agree with what Rick also said, but we haven't been seeing that here in town. And there's definitely, at least 51% of the residents here who feel like that they're getting pushed out. And you may not want to hear it, and I'm sorry about it, but that's what we're seeing. That's what I'm hearing. That's the phone calls I get. And you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. But you do work for all of us. The staff here gets paid by our taxes. You guys are now actually only elected by partial of us, which I don't think that's actually really good. I actually don't like district voting because I don't think that's what it was all set up originally to be. But more time needs to be spent reaching out across the aisle. So, and if you did get offended, it's supposed to actually trigger reflection more than anything else. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? We're going to close public comment, bring up the dais. Councilmember Lau.
Okay, so true to form, you heard this earlier from Councilmember Rick Crosby, but there is a YFAC meeting tomorrow at 5 p.m. For anyone who would like to attend, it is in these chambers. On Wednesday at 4 p.m., there's a 4th of July meeting. For anybody who would like to get involved with all the planning and all the fun that has already started for the 4th of July. Also wanted to let people know or remind people that the University of Laverne Scholarship Gala is happening on May 3rd. And I say this for multiple reasons. If you'd like to support, please do. But also, as an awareness factor, there will be an event the event will be on campus. So there will be parking and traffic being diverted and whatnot because of that. So just wanted to make everyone aware of that, and just wanted to shout out a couple of things. I wanted to say thank you to Yvonne and her team for helping bring the Autism Chalk Festival to the city on April 12th. If you didn't get a chance to look earlier today out on parking lot, there's still artist renderings out there from some of our autistic artists in the area. It's really beautiful and really neat to see. Also, Cool Cruise was this last Saturday, so it was a good time, beautiful. Thank you to the city, public safety, everybody for being out there, K9 Foundation for holding a great raffle. So thank you for all of that. And then just last for me, I just wanted to, as part of my council comments, just wanted to pay tribute to a longtime resident of the city of Laverne who recently unexpectedly passed away. And I bring this up because this person is known by many folks in the city, amongst city staff and others as well. Laverne resident Eric Prince was a great husband to his high school sweetheart, April Prince. They both went to Bonita High School. And he's survived by both April and his two daughters, Sammy and Danny, as well as, I know. So it was very sudden. So just a kind of reminder to everybody to go see their doctors, do what they need to do, but it's important. But he was known as Big Papa to his grandchildren, Violet, Nico, Valor, Anya, and Valen. He happily coached girls soccer in Laverne for over 15 years, regularly bumping into former players and their families all over town. He was friends with over dozens of city employees, making a lasting impact on this community. He's also survived by his parents, Roy and Sharon, his brothers, Sean and Jason, and their wives, Terry and Jen, as well as several nieces and nephews. And I just wanted to highlight him because I think that's a lot of the people that live here. And I think, and everybody contains multitudes. And so he's not only known because of his residency here in Laverne, but through his very many connections through the many people lives that he touched. So just wanted to give out a shout out to him. And I know Rick knows the family as well. I think others here do also. So just wanted to take a minute to pay some tribute to a longtime resident who gone far too soon. So please make sure to go see your doctors and take care of yourselves.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Crosby.
We spoke a lot tonight about signage on the south side and that bridge and stuff. And there's not a lot of signs that really say welcome to Laverne or Laverne and things like that, and really going around. And I've been traveling a little bit lately and trying to go to visit my kid and things. And a lot of times you see the signage on freeways of where the city, especially in Riverside area, Palm Springs. And I know expense and things like that, but I would like us to look at trying to put one on the 210 freeway to really acknowledge our city and where people coming by, because a lot of times the 210 freeway, we have that little green sign, once City of Laverne or University of Laverne. It's like big.
Yeah.
But if it's across not one of our overpasses, but it's across one of the utility places within less damage maybe, or things like that happening. But just I want to look into that. So just maybe future meeting that we could bring that back. I also thank you, Wendy, talking about Eric. I want to start something. We do great things, acknowledge our veterans in the beginning of our meetings. I want to set up a thing that at the end of our meetings, we have in the past in honor of and our closing of our meetings, but any of our residents that have passed and we know about it, something that we could do at the end of our meetings, closing in honor of someone that's passed. And then what we do as a council, make sure that we acknowledge that, tell that family, sign a card for them. It's just a little token from us to them. And tonight, starting with Eric. So, and that will close my comments.
Thank you. Great idea. Mr. Johnson.
Wagon wheels. What's up with wagon wheels? This past Saturday was a great day for the car show. If you didn't get there, I'm sorry about that, but it was just a beautiful day. We had rain threatening Friday, but Saturday it was a perfect day, and there were a lot of very nice cars. It was wonderful. As far as meetings that I've been to recently, the City Select Committee, that seems to be a tough one to get a quorum. Fortunately, we had one extra. We did get the quorum. But anyway, that's all I've got for you.
Cash.
Thank you, Mayor, and I appreciate all my amazing colleagues. And Wendy, you hit on all the points I was going to talk about, and I agree 100% with you that it's a great opportunity at the closing and talking about those in our community. And in speaking about that, I'd like to take my time for the Catholic faithful to acknowledge the passing of the Pope Francis, who in the Catholic Church, and I'm forever grateful to the Holy Name of Mary, who was there for me and my family when I was deployed, engaged, and destroyed all enemies, foreign and domestic, across the seas and deployed. They were there for my family during all those times. And I would like to just read a small passage from Father Chris Santiago from Holy Name of Mary, who talked about the Pope Francis, and he mentions that Pope Francis brought his humble servant attitude to this role of service since 2013. We pray God's mercy and compassion on his soul as he enters eternal life. Two quotes that are emblematic of his service as Pope was calling the church a field hospital, which is called to attend to those battered by the burdens of life. He also urged us as priests to serve the people deeply to the point of acting as shepherds who have the smell of the sheep. May his servant of God rest in peace and pray for us. I just wanted to have that time for the Catholic faithful who lost the Pope today. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Cash. Again, thank you guys for nominating me for mayor again. I do appreciate that. Steve, it's been an honor and a pleasure with you, Mayor Pro Tem, and I welcome you, Cash. I just want to say just a few real quick comments. Every one of us here up on the dais, including our city manager and our assistant city manager, we all have multiple functions. We have more than 2 to 3 or 4 committees that we all belong to as elected officials to make sure that our city is getting represented well. Also, we get calls from residents all the time, and we field those calls and bring them to our city manager for resolution. There's not a day that doesn't go by that there's not a text or an email or a concern. And every concern that a resident has is our concern, whether we're in District 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And we all take it very seriously. That's why we're up here. It takes a lot of our time, more than we even realize. We don't realize it. But on behalf of myself, I want to thank you all, our council members and our city management, for what we put out there and how much we do in our community and outside of our community. Myself, I've been to D.C. and Sacramento multiple times. Our bridge is only for the fact of our relationship that we got the funding for from SCAG. And that's because of our relationships with the COG, our relationships with our state, our Senate, our Assembly, and our Congress. And that's because all of us have relationships. We've all been involved in this. But these committees that we belong to are extremely important for how we push forward with our community. And we are always available, 24/7. And there are some people that need that and use that. And we respond quickly. The same for our services in this community. We have some of the finest services, and that's throughout our city, whether it be community services, whether it be finance, whether it be public services, whether it be our water districts, whether it be our public works. It doesn't, police, fire. We have some of the best services around, and we take it very seriously, especially now with budget time. But I just want to say, I'm going to toot our horn that we do a very good job, and I take offense to nothing. These people up here I'm proud to serve with. I'm proud to serve with our management, and we do a heck of a job. And we're very, very open to suggestions, and we've made changes because of the suggestions our community makes. With that, we have the golf tournament coming up, LBPOA. That is on the 28th. You still can apply for that. You can take a flyer. We also have the wine walk, which is probably one of the most fun things we do, besides, like Councilmember Johnson said, the car show was incredible. The senior craft fair was incredible. The autism, the paintings, and then the professional painters that came alongside of them. We do some great things here. Anyway, with that, I guess I need to put this on there. Session. Yes. Our next regular scheduled city council meeting will be on Monday, May 5th. A special study session meeting for the initial budget presentation will begin at 4:30 p.m. and the regular meeting will begin at 6:30 p.m. As a reminder, upcoming events and meetings are posted on the last page of the city council agenda. And those actually, I will finish with this. Those that are interested in public service and wish to really go to the higher echelon, which would be the city council, you have, when elections come around, put your hat in the ring. And if you think that this is an easy job, guess what? I got something else for you to think about. It's not. This isn't easy. It takes away from your family time. It takes away from everything you do, your children, your grandchildren, and you have to make decisions that affect your family life. But if you really want to do that, put your hat in the ring. Next time elections come around, I'm more than happy for you to do that. You can do a better job than any of us. You can take the spot. Anyway, with that, we adjourn at 9:49 p.m., April 21st.